I am in the void. Oh no. I forgot to turn off, well, pretty much everything. Alright, well, I'm hearing both the music and my voice at once. Yes, my voice. That is exactly how English language works, of course. Yes. So I suppose we will be... Oh, there's another new map. Yeah, whilst we're waiting for a couple extra people to join us, mayhaps. First of all, I'm pretty sure I'm still not capturing Supreme Commander, so let's go and do that. Because, yeah, it's kind of important to actually be commentating about the game that to see the game on your screen that you are commentating. Hey, hello, Lena, welcome. Hey, or should I call you Salt, whatever you prefer? Yes, thank you. Thank you for being part of this and for helping me along somewhat. Thank you very much. I hope you, yes, I hope you enjoy your stay. Maybe I'm not always playing the games that you're interested in, but you know, still. Already have to take some water. That's not a good sign. Okay, yeah. So, hoping that you enjoy at least some stuff that you put out, and my commentary is at least not too annoying, not too obnoxious, and all that cool stuff, or not cool stuff, and that yeah, you can have a nice little chat here and there, and at least have a good time talking to people. That'll be really nice indeed. Okay, I can see the game. I can see the game. Very nice. Hello, RTX. RTX says, hey, it's 1,000 subs, let's go, and bye, I got to go to bed, bye. Okay, well, no problem. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it greatly, and yeah, hope you're having a... Okay, where's my... Alright. Well. Okay, everything seems to be working. I appreciate it. I hope the game wasn't too laggy or anything, but yes. Goodbye. Have a nice sleep, and I hope to see you again sometime later. It's a very early time for, well, not very early, but you know, it's a rather early time, I guess I should say, for somebody to go to bed in Australia. But I guess, you know, if you got to go to school tomorrow, wait, where did I go? What is this? Yeah, map spotlight. They've just released a new map, I suppose. I'm not sure. Can you see it behind my face? Well, not quite. Yeah, this is the newsreel for the client for the game, so that you can see that they're introducing new game modes, new mods, new... I don't even know what this is. Some new feature that they are beta testing, and also this here is a new map. Whilst we're waiting for people to gather around, I'm not sure how many there will be, but we can search this map in the maps folder, or the map vault, I guess I should say. Project Tabula. Let's see what's there. Rated 5 stars, of course, because why not? Let's see if... Oh god. Okay, well, just kind of want to check out this map while, you know, while we are waiting for people to gather around. So yes, this is Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, is what we're going to be playing today. Strictly speaking, we're going to be using the Forged Alliance Forever client, which is a... well, it is a client in which the games are normally played in this day and age. They've been working on it for like 15 years by this point, essentially. It's a... what? My firewall's getting triggered, why? Interesting. But yes, this is a relatively old game, not as old as Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Oh my goodness, there's the changelog. There's like a million lines written here. Oh, actually, that's not that many. Looks like it's mostly just bug fixes. Yeah, it says hotfix. Yeah, so we can... I guess we can do this, fill slots. Yeah, teams, we're split into teams. Let's go, let's make the map, options map, where is it? Yeah, let's make the map completely revealed so we can see exactly the features of this map. And then we'll go and quickly just check it out and then go proceed to casting, which I have prepared the replays. If in case you're wondering why I started so late, despite, you know, saying myself that I would be starting a little bit like basically like 2 hours before now. Yeah, the reason I'm so late is because I was actually looking for replays. I literally couldn't find any time to prepare the replays to cast before this all happened. So yes, random map score manually. Where's no rush option? Where is the map like fog of war option? Oh, there it is. None. Yeah, there you go. Okay, let's go get ready, launch game, see what it is. Hey, congrats, I just wanted to pop by during my lunch break. Thank you. Hey, appreciate it greatly. Right, I'll just start building stuff, even though it's kind of gonna be kind of irrelevant very shortly here. Oh wow, I still remember the hotkeys even, that's great. Okay, I messed up the build order already, it doesn't matter. So let me see what's on this map. You can see there is this water. Is this what? Yeah, this looks like water, but extremely shallow, so you can't really hide in here. I'm pretty sure, yeah. On the other side, however, this looks much deeper, and it looks like you can actually fit something in here. Yeah, like your commander, for example, you can hide here if you'd like. And then this stuff looks not only inaccessible, but also kind of pointless. There's just a bunch of empty ground here for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, I guess the main action is going to be happening on this here plateau, where you've got plenty of mass points. You've got gigantic rocks worth 300 mass. That's amazing. That's pretty cool. And then, well, yeah, and there's the weird gap in the middle where you can access only by land by those like land bridges. Everything else is a sheer cliff that cannot be navigated. At least it seems like it. And then, yeah, it's a pretty cool map. I like how the mass points are scattered all over the place, which means there is a incentive to go basically anywhere and everywhere in order to grab these, to claim them for your own. But anyway, let us exit the game. Also, let me know if my voice is like too quiet or if the music is too loud or whatever. Did you enjoy test? What? No. I was literally just testing stuff. What are you talking about? And yes, today's casting is going to be done in the noob-friendly style. Okay, I have to make this music quieter, unless you tell me something, because it's too loud in my ears. There you go, that should be slightly better. But yes, I've prepared some replays, so today's casting style is going to be like a noob-friendly type deal, where I will attempt to explain as much as I can, like the basics about the game, so that people can actually understand, even if they're new to the game, because I know that a lot of people here might not know much about this. So yeah, hopefully my voice doesn't give out and stuff like that, because I'm already having some trouble, but I don't know, I feel like it should be okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and start up one of those replays. So yeah, if you've got any questions about what's happening on screen, you can ask away anytime. I'd be most happy to answer. Yes, we are loading the match. It says generating map, which is really weird because the map has already been generated. But I guess this is because... Wait. Is this even the right one? Huh? Or is this... Oh, never mind, this is... Okay, never mind. Nice, great start. This is the wrong replay. It's the replay I was... Yeah, this is the replay I was going to cast myself later, so this is a different story. Alright, so we've got... Yeah, because of this test thing, everything... all the replays got moved up. So yeah, let's load this one. This one was actually the one I was playing not planning to play. Well, would you look at that, a handsome stash on my screen. Oh, welcome, Cursed Potato. I missed you. I'm glad you found me here as well. Yes. You see, I've changed the style a little bit. Changed it around slightly. Yes, I mostly do stuff on YouTube. I've done a lot more video, but like pre-recorded video stuff, rather than the actual rather than live streaming. But yes, I still do live stream, just I do everything here on YouTube now. It's a bit of a change that I made. Alright, so yes, we are currently looking at a generated map created by the Neuroxis map generator, as you can see at the top right of your screen, which is basically just the fancy name for the random map generator for this game that got invented relatively recently. It's like, I think they started in 2019, maybe slightly earlier. I could be wrong, but yeah. Don't mind, or not don't mind, but tell me how you're doing. I would be very glad to hear, as I'm figuring this out, or refiguring this out, reinventing the wheel here. But yes, I'd like to hear how you guys are doing. If your day is starting good, if your week has been good, please go ahead and tell me. Meanwhile, I'll just be starting out here, so... Of course, this is the new 3v3 matchmaking feature that's been recently introduced. Before it was 1v1, 2v2 or 4v4 matchmaking, but now they decided to make 3v3 as well. And here you can see it right here, 3 players at the top part, 3 players at the bottom. They are of course teamed up against each other. So let's start introducing them. It's going to be relatively quick because there are only 6 of course, but anyway. In the, what is it, in the red corner on the westernmost position, it's going to be Kiri. I have no idea who this person is. This is my first time seeing them at 1,000 rank points. I think this rounds up to 1,100 even. Playing UEF for the United Earth Federation, going first land and wearing the Road Rage Red color, as I call it, on the southeastern, right? Yes, southeastern position. I keep confusing east and west a lot. I apologize in advance for that. Yes, we've got the Depression, or I guess I should say the Depression, because there is only one S. Playing Seraphim at 900 rank points, wearing Fresh and Fragrant Orange, and also going first land. And in the backline we've got ourselves Sailor Moon, what an amazing name. At 1400 rank points, the highest rated player in this match. Playing UEF in Coronate Red, and also going, going first air. This is our first air player, so you can choose a different factory that you start the game with. In this case, these players are going for land factories, which produce land units. Of course, this produces engineers, but also flying units, which can reach around the map quicker, but also generally much easier to destroy if you've got the right weapons. On the opposite side of the world, in the purple corner, starting from the easternmost position, is going to be Tolstichok. This is the way it's going to be pronounced, if you're wondering. This means fatty. This is translated from Russian into English as fatty. So this fatty over here is going to be playing UEF at 1100 rank points. Yes, wearing Blues Blue, as I'd like to call this color, going first land. The color names are not official, by the way. I just made them up because to have my unique, distinct style, essentially. His teammate is yet another member of the United Earth Federation. Somehow there are like 4 of them in this match. This one is named El Polo, or I guess if it's like, I think it's Spanish, so it should be El Pollo, I guess. Playing at 1,000 rank points, so slightly less. Playing UEF, yes, I already said that. In Shrinking Violet, going first land. And last but not least for this match, we are going to be looking at Zapod. I have no idea what this name is supposed to mean. It kind of vaguely sounds like Russian or Slavic, but I'm actually not sure what they were implying with this. Yes, playing Cybran, the only Cybran player of the game. At 1200 rank points, going first land and wearing Thalassophobia Blue, as I like to call this, because it's so deep, you know. My day's alright, studying for my last 2 finals. Oh, finals are coming for everybody. Watch out, the finals are coming. I refuse to believe this is my fault in any way. I stayed up much of the night on the new Zelda and woken up this morning feeling not remotely rested. Oh, well, yeah. everybody's playing the new Zelda, except yours truly. Of course, I've never in my life played a Zelda game. You know, I might pick it up later, but as of right now, I've got my plate already quite full. Yes, good luck in your finals indeed. Hope you, well, I know you will perform incredibly. I'm absolutely sure of it. What a username, glorious. I have math and economics left, same here. Got a lot of fun. Yes, okay, yes. So what's the plan? Kill them all? Well, you're talking about the game. Yes, the main objective. There are different objectives that you can set according to your preferences as the game starts. But most players play with the objective called assassination, which you can see those yellow circles on the map right here. Those circles are placed around the armored command unit of each player, also shortened to ACU. So the ACU, also colloquially known as the commander, is your main unit, is your like hero unit. If this unit is destroyed, you are, as a player, eliminated from the game. So you really gotta pay attention to keep those things alive, unless you want to be eliminated from the game and spectate the rest of the game from the sidelines. When all ACUs from one side are eliminated, that team loses the game completely. So in theory, it's possible to have more than one team. You can have 3, 4, 5, whatever you prefer, but normally the way ranked games are played is that there are 2 teams. It's much more manageable in terms of your, you know, who you're supposed to be fighting. Let's just say that. However, the amount of players in ranked games can vary wildly between 1 on each team and 8 on each team, up to a maximum of 16 players. This was not possible before when Supreme Commander was first released. There were only, I think there were only 4 players at most per team, that you could not have more. But now with as they are continuously improving the game, the community, that is, the curators of the Forged Alliance Forever client, as they're continuously improving the game and constantly adding new and exciting stuff, you can now play, we can now play 8 versus 8, and soon I think it might even be 10v10, but I don't think it's possible now. I have a whole list of games I have missed out that I'm planning on catching up to eventually. Oh, I have same here actually. I have compiled a list of like 150 games at this point, I think, that I'd like to play. But no such luck so far. But hopefully someday. I don't know. But yes, so there are 4 playable factions in this game in total, because it's a real-time strategy game. Of course, you're going to have different playable factions. In this instance, though, only 3 of them will be represented in this match. God damn it. Terribly sorry. Yes, 4 playable factions. You've got the United Earth Federation, who are the chunky ones. You can see they are all rectangular. They have, on average, they have more health for every of their units compared to the other factions. Then you've got the Cybran Nation, or Cybran for short. You've got them right here. Those are the angular ones, the spiky ones, the spooky ones. They've got in general less health on all the units than the other factions, but they are also in general faster and have higher rate of fire on their weapons, and also their buildings regenerate health over time. This is unique, no other faction has this. Their buildings, because they're all about nano machines and stuff, right? Their buildings regenerate health over time, they repair themselves. Then you've got the Aeon Illuminate, also known as Aeon, which are not represented in this game. You don't see them here. They are essentially glass cannons. They've got very high damage per shot, on average also higher weapon ranges than other factions, but they have very low rate of fire and also relatively low health. They also employ a lot of shields, like obviously, since this is the future, you've got shields on a lot of your units, and yes, the Aeon are especially famous for their shields. They've got shields on lots and lots of units. Shields, essentially, the difference in this game between shields and normal health is that shields regenerate a lot faster, but the downside is that the shields consume energy. You need energy for them to actually work. If you've got no energy, which is one of the resources in this game, the shields stop working. And finally, the 4th playable faction are the Seraphim, which are actually the only alien faction, despite, you know, this being a galactic scale RTS. There is only 1 alien faction among the 4. The other 3 are variations of humans. The Seraphim, however, are aliens which not only come from a different planet, they come from straight up an alternate dimension. And these guys are like a combination of the Aeon and the UEF. They've got above average health on their units, and also hit pretty hard, but are generally kind of like more expensive. I think that's the alleged downside to them. But yes. I live in a household where I wasn't allowed to play video games for most of my childhood. Oh, I see. But I will... Get to live my childhood dream eventually, yes! Yeah, it might need more aliens, but you know, this is just the way the game's, the writers decided to go about it. They only had one alien species, and even better, when the vanilla game originally released, those aliens were actually thought to be wiped out. Since they lived in an alternate dimension, when humans first encountered them, you know, humans being humans, of course, they completely wiped those aliens out in the system that they were found. But then, in the expansion pack, it turned out that actually the majority of them live in this alternate dimension, and they started coming in from there in force in order to get revenge. And the plot of the expansion pack essentially is the three human factions banding together to stop the aliens from annihilating them all across the galaxy. Yes. But anyway, so as you can see right now, the baseline for every faction is pretty much the same. I'm speeding the game up here so they actually start walking at a normal pace, because as I was talking I slowed everything down. So yes, every faction has the same basic set of units. You can see right here, if we click on this factory, that's not a good example because they've started with an air factory instead of land. You can see right here, yes, for example, there's an UEF land factory right here. You have your engineer, scout, light assault bot, you've got a tank, an anti-air gun, and an artillery piece, a very small artillery piece. You've got your mass extractors who give you mass, which is one of the two main resources in the game. You've got power generators, which give you energy, the other main resource in the game. And then you've got of course, the commander marching forward towards the front lines, ready to annihilate everything. A commander is worth approximately 20 of these basic tanks in the early game, so it's a very extremely powerful combat unit that you want to throw in the thick of it, and as long as you aren't matched with an opposing commander, in the early game you will just annihilate everything else. Which is why they're going towards the front line, despite the fact that, you know, you lose the commander, you lose the game. And the early game is generally worth it to just go in and destroy everything as much as you can with this thing. But yes, if you look at the Seraphim now, they pretty much get all the same stuff here. So engineer, scout, tank, anti-air gun, artillery piece, all the same things. And this is generally the trend for all the normal units. However, this game has technology levels, as you know, most strategy games do. You've got, you know, your tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, so to speak. They're called tech 1, tech 2, and tech 3 in this game, but yes. And as you tech up, as you reach higher technology levels, the differences between factions become more pronounced and more unique units appear. We will see them eventually as the game, you know, as the game progresses, of course. But for now, yes, they're all pretty similar. The difference is mostly in stats at this point in the game. However, one unique feature we can see already is that the Seraphim do not possess a light assault bot. Essentially, what a light assault bot is a super fast, super weak unit that you can produce basically in like 3 seconds, and it can run in and destroy. Yeah, right. You see right here, you can see it. It's just gonna destroy this engineer, and the engineer is mostly helpless to stop it. The only way the engineer can survive this encounter is if the engineer runs up to this assault bot and just disassembles it, essentially. The engineers, all the engineering units in the game have a feature called Reclaim. What this means is essentially, let me show you if I can find it somewhere. Oh yeah, right here, see? This engineer is sucking up the trees around it. Basically, immediately absorbing them into your economy, immediately giving you some resources. This is you know, this is the normal strategy way of gathering resources, of course. Like, for example, you gather wood and gold in Warcraft. This is it right here. That's what the engineer is doing. However, you can also use your engineers to disassemble buildings, including the wreckages of the units that have been destroyed. You can see them, well, these are rocks, but yeah, if a unit gets destroyed, its wreckage can also be disassembled and also absorbed into your economy. However, the cool feature is that basically engineers have the ability to destroy units that are still operational. So for example, like I said before, this light assault bot, as it was running up on the engineer, what the engineer could have done, it could have gotten, in theory, you know, in theory, it could have gotten close to the light assault bot and just disassembled it right there. And then the light assault bot would be destroyed, of course, and the engineer would have survived. This didn't happen. The engineer chose to start building a defense turret instead. But those are extremely, well, not extremely, but they're fairly expensive. And it takes a while to build for just one engineer, so the engineer got killed. However, I'm pretty sure then the assault bot just ran into this other turret and died anyway. As did a couple tanks you saw right here. Alright, so you can, one unique feature of the commander is that unlike other units, the commander is upgradable. The upgrades are directly acquired through the commander's interface. You can see that right here. You can click on enhancements, and then they've got multiple enhancements. You can have 3 in total at any time. And they do all kinds of things for your commander. Some make it more survivable, some give it extra technology, some make it more powerful, well, give it a more powerful weapon. All of this different sorts of cool things. But yeah, yes, so one of the unique features of Supreme Commander, what makes it so beloved to this day by so many people, is the fact that its economy works a lot differently. Yeah, oh yeah, disassemble the enemy. Yes, that's exactly what they do. Just run, yeah, just if it's something as weak as a light assault bot, you can run at it and just disassemble it in a few seconds, and then your engineer will be safe. Of course, you know, when engineers run into enemy engineers, that's the only thing they can do. They just run into each other and start trying to disassemble each other. You know, who does it faster, essentially. What do you mean, give me back my arm? Do you mean my cool third arm? That's that's mine. Yep. Yeah, so the way resources work in this game is that when you start building something, unlike for example Warcraft or Starcraft, when you start building something, you don't immediately spend all the resources you need. Instead, the resources are gradually sapped from your storage, which you can see at the top left. So for example, they are building this power generator, which is a pretty big project for this stage of the game. You can see lots of engineers building. So yeah, the energy is consumed at a very rapid rate. And now, but basically, the point is you can build as much stuff as you want, even if you don't have the resources to afford it. So basically, right here, you can see he's completely run out of resources. And now, basically what this does, situation is called a stall. Whilst you are stalling, you will be building everything at a slower pace, but you will still be building it. You can see they still completed the generator, even though they were completely out of resources. They will now build another one, which, yeah, they don't have the mass to afford. Yeah, the mass is a weird name for a resource because everything is mass. Everything you see around you is mass, essentially. But what they mean is, in the original game, or the game that was inspiration for Supreme Commander, which is a really old game called Total Annihilation. In that game, the green resource was called metal, and that makes a lot more sense than just calling it mass. I have no idea why they decided to call it mass in this game, but at this point everybody just rolls with it. So yes. Basically, yeah, the main feature is, like I said, you can build as much stuff as you want, you know, as early as you want. The problem is, if you run out of resources, you will be building it slower, proportionately to how many resources you're missing. Essentially, this shield should have been constructed. This is a shield generator, by the way. The shield should have been constructed in like 5 seconds, considering how many engineers are building it. But because they are completely out of mass, it's taken a lot longer. And also, if you run out of energy, your shields will stop working. So yeah, he would do well to not run out of energy. That is why he's got so many of these power generators, even though he's now overflowing heavily. You can see his storage is completely full, and the remaining resources that are constantly generated will be either transferred to your allies, or if your allies are also overthrowing, these resources will be just lost forever. So you don't want to stall, which means you don't want to run out of resources, but you also don't want to overflow, which means you are wasting them. Right here, this guy, who's this Sailor Moon. Yeah, Sailor Moon is completely, his storage is almost full on mass as well. This is one of the worst case scenarios because, you know, mass is very precious. You really don't want to waste any of it, but if your storage is full and you're still generating a surplus, you will be wasting it. Well, hopefully transferring it to your allies, but very often time, for example, in a 1v1 situation, you'll be wasting it. So this is the way combat works in this game. You can see right here, you've got very large hordes of these units running up on each other and shooting each other. Yes, in this game, another unique feature that distinguishes it from, once again, for example, Warcraft or Starcraft, you can... yes, you can. They can shoot while moving. This is true for pretty much every unit, except a few who have it as a distinct weakness. Like, oh, this unit in particular cannot shoot while moving, but everybody else can. Yes, so I can switch my camera. You know, I can spin my camera however I want. You can see those. These are the Cybran's equivalents of the light assault light tanks. These are called heavy assault bots, or just assault bots, nicknamed the Mantis. There is a turret, which the turret can stop quite large amounts of these, but the problem is, you know, they don't have to run into a turret. If they know it's there, they can just run around it, which is what they're doing right now. They are, of course, met with the opposing tanks. These were produced by the Seraphim, Mr. Depression. These are called Tham, because, of course, Seraphim being aliens, they have alien names for everything. the tanks, well, now that the Mantises are running into 4 factories which are all producing tanks in the meantime, they should be stopped relatively quickly here. However, well, no, never mind. That's still not enough tanks. They're still currently, I guess they are threatening to destroy these factories, which would be less than ideal. Let's just say, you spend a lot of resources building those factories and then a lot of resources with these factories producing units, and if they are just destroyed instantly, that is, highly inconvenient to say the least. But seriously, I probably should switch the camera to normal view. Yeah, so you can zoom out as much as you like until you see the entire map, the entire map, not just on the mini-map of which you can see on the right, but also on your screen. Normally when, a lot of people are playing this game, not casting, not watching like what I'm doing right now, but actually playing the game, they play straight up without the mini-map, because, like, who needs the mini-map when you can just do this? Boom, there's your mini-map right here. This, yeah. Alright, in the meantime, you've already seen, like I said before, you've already seen some, Tech 2 units right here. This is the second, Tier 2 essentially, for people who play StarCraft or Warcraft or whatever. This is Tier 2, and now they've gone to Tier 3. This is a Tech 3 engineer. We've got 2 of them now, and they're now building a Tech 3 power generator. You might want to ask, why is this player so obsessed with energy? They've got, let me see actually. Yeah, they've got an 800 surplus, almost 1,000 by this point. They are still building more energy, while, if we look at this player, for example, there is no such thing. They've got 1 T2 power generator and that's it. There's literally nothing else. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a row of T1 generators as well, but those are obsolete at this point. So why is this player in particular so obsessed with energy? Well, the answer is rather simple. This player is a dedicated air player. You see, they've got a T3 air factory where, for example, this player does not. This player only has a T2 land factory. This player has a T3 air factory, and this is the dedicated air player, or at least as dedicated as they can be, considering they're also building some land at least. But yes, dedicated air players, their job is to reach Tech 3 air as fast as possible, because, of course, Tech 3 air units are the most powerful air units, and then spam a whole bunch of these things right here. Oh, this says commander under attack. I'm sure you can handle it. Anyway, yes, these things are here called air superiority fighters. I'm not sure. You might, yeah, okay, the name is hidden behind my face, but you can trust me on this one. Maybe if you want to see it like more, yeah, there is some stuff hidden behind my face, but if you think I should move it, let me know. I'll move it like move my face like upwards slightly. But yeah, so they want to build as many of those things as possible. This way they will then completely wipe the objective is to completely wipe out the enemy's air force, if that exists, and then with the enemy air force wiped out, you can do whatever you want with this air advantage or air superiority. You can build those things which are air to ground attack aircraft, bombers, and attack helicopters. This is called gunship, but it's essentially an attack helicopter. You can build as many of these as you want. They can fly anywhere and destroy anything you desire, essentially. And if the enemy has no air force because you destroyed it, then the enemy will have an extremely hard time stopping such shenanigans. You can also build air transports, which will then, transport units elsewhere in order to strike from unexpected directions. Alright, we've still got those T1 little tanks running around, running amok, causing all sorts of chaos, which is really weird because at this point you'd think they would have plenty of defense. This is a little bit ridiculous, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is what is this now? It's building so many defense turrets which cannot move, and the enemy can just run around them. You just build like a massive amounts of them. I genuinely don't understand why this is happening, or like what you're hoping to accomplish here. But yeah, I guess nobody will want to go here because this is a certain death for any like low tech units that will run in. But but they know. You see, the problem is they know they won't go in there because there is no point. And we already have a hard counter here, where Mr. El Pollo is building Tech 2 point defense turrets, which are strictly superior to these, because you see, much greater range. They can blast the enemy with complete impunity here. The only thing that Mr. Kiri can do right now is just send some attack bombers here, but those die in like one shot from any. Yeah, there you go. See. This flak cannon over here, which is a Tech 2 anti-air gun, just completely just shreds these bombers like they're nothing. Of course, they might destroy a couple of these turrets, but he can just build a couple more anti-air turrets and then continue with these Tech 2 turrets, which are strictly superior to whatever this guy has. Although he has built one of his own now, but you know, it's just one, and he's only started building it now, and these will still go to waste. The Tech 1. Meanwhile, oh yeah, we've got a strategic bomber, which I was mentioning before, a strategic bomber, but interestingly it's not from Kiri, it's from Sailor Moon. And in this instance, it looks like both Kiri and Sailor Moon have gone to a very early T3 air. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, we've got, well, obviously we've got no air from Mr. El Pollo, who is very much a frontline player. You can't build a strong frontline and rush Tech 3 air at the same time. It tends to not work out very well for you. Meanwhile, what is this? Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, that doesn't really matter. Alright, there's the strategic bomber. It's flying. It's gonna do some damage. Okay, it just randomly stops. It's really interesting how aircraft in this game can just stop on their tracks. You know, there are no tracks and no traction to speak of. Yeah, there you go. The bombing has started. Destroys a very valuable mass extractor immediately, which, yes, mass in this game can be obtained from only specific spots, most commonly the mass extractors. You know, a Tech 2 mass extractor tends to be less cost effective in terms of resources you invest into it versus the resources you get out of it, but you still want to do it, you still want to upgrade it, because there is no other way to increase the output, or at least no other ways are even less cost effective. And the bomber continues to terrorize the neighborhood. You can see it destroys another mass extractor, and it's not just the extractor it destroys. You can see it right here. Those extractors are also surrounded by some storage units, which these storage units, they essentially increase your capacity to store the appropriate resource, in this case mass. The reason people usually surround the extractors with storage units is because of these little wires you can see right here. This is called the adjacency bonus. Basically, building certain structures next to other structures gives them a bonus. For example, building mass storage units next to extractors increases the mass output of the extractor. So normally it would be just 6 without them, but with them, as you can see at the bottom right, bottom left, it's 9. So very much worth doing, especially when you upgrade them to T3. The adjacency bonus becomes absolutely huge. I think the bomber finally got shot down, but not before it's going on a horrific rampage, destroying a whole bunch of mass extractors. I'm sure, yeah, the main thing you want to do your units is make them, you know, pay off, make them destroy more of the enemy's mass essentially than you've put into them, and that bomber definitely did all that. These bombers are probably not going to do that though, because they just run in, they hit the shield. Which, yeah, this is look at this pretty shield generator right here. Look how pretty it is. Oh yeah, see, the bombers are just bouncing off of the shield's surface. It's one of the fun quirks of this game, which has actually been added by community members in later years. This wasn't originally in the game, but yeah, now some planes, when they fall on top of the shield, they just bounce off. Alright, so in the meantime... Oh yeah, they've also got this thing right here. This is a stealth field generator. Essentially what that does, I hope I can show you. Yeah, see? The stealth field generator conceals the units that stand near it from enemy radar. So, of course, you know, detection in this game, like the vision, the way you see your enemy, isn't just the field of view, which you can see right here. This is visual right here. This is what the units can actually see. This is radar. These gray dots are appearing there because they've been detected by your radar, by this team's radars, essentially. However, the stealth generators, as I just demonstrated, hides the units from the radar. You see the radar reaches in. You could see there the blue circle there. Right here, the blue circle, but they can't see them because they're concealed by the stealth generator. So it's a really cool building, which also all factions have access to. In terms of unique units, like I've described before, as you take up, more unique units show up. You've got these wonderful little boys right here. These are called the Gatling Bus. They've got a little bit longer range than you normally expect from Tech 2 units. They outrange most other Tech 2 units, at least, you know, direct fire ones. And they've got those little Gatling guns that you might have seen in action already, actually. So yes, all very cool. Alright, what is this now? Getting some weird phone calls. I have no idea what this is all about. I'm not going to answer just yet. Not until I figure out what this is supposed to be, you know. You know what they say, if you wanna If you really want to come into contact, just text, you know. Alright, we've got, oh yeah, we've got missiles flying in, lots and lots of, you can see those swarms of missiles. These missiles are a little bit unique, because these missiles are much longer range than the other weapons you normally have access to on that tech level. Or at that tech level, I guess I should say. However, the important thing is that those missiles, they do very high damage, or relatively high damage, but in a very small radius. These missiles, however, can be completely hard countered to the point of being completely useless by these units right here. These are called tactical missile defense. So you can see they shoot down specifically those missiles, and the missiles are completely harmless. Yep. So you actually need separate defenses for your anti-air and for, you know, destroying these missiles. There are separate defense units for either of these. So yes, you need to keep both if you want your frontal positions to be relatively intact. You can see they are still being shot at by a whole bunch of enemy fire, but mostly holding up for now. Some stuff got destroyed like we predicted, but yeah, they're still holding up relatively well because of the shield generators. You can see, well, whatever walks out, of course, gets destroyed immediately, but other than that, yeah, they are holding up pretty well. So in terms of other interesting stuff that is currently happening, oh yeah, right, these things right here. These are called Tech 2 artillery installations. They are essentially much longer range than, again, than most other stuff you can have at that tech level. They might actually be even longer range than the missile launchers, I'm not entirely sure. Well, I mean, we can always check. If you click on one of these artillery installations, yeah, you can see that's the radius to which it can shoot. It could have destroyed everything in the backline by now. Though it's not, there isn't much to destroy. There's just some turrets which aren't doing anything either way. So no point in destroying them really. Instead they are trying to blast the frontal base, which is surrounded with a couple of shield domes, which making it a lot harder to actually destroy anything. Oh, look at this swarm of bombers just flying in. They've accomplished almost nothing. Of course, you know, they have taken down the shield. Whoa, that's a lot of bombers, my lord. Okay, well, never mind. Now one shield generator is destroyed. One stealth both shield generators are destroyed. One stealth generator goes down as well. He's got to rebuild that really quick or he's going to be in all sorts of trouble. Okay, I actually missed a player dying here. Oh yeah, we've got our first tech, well, not first, but I mean we've got tech 3 units on the field now. You can see those things. They're called Titan Heavy Assault Bot. Yes, those are the UEF relatively fast attack unit at tech 3. They are much more powerful than any sort of tech 2 unit. And they're also quite fast, and they've got shields which regenerate very quickly, allowing them to survive a surprisingly long amount of time. Even though for a tech 3 unit they've got relatively low health, but thanks to those shields they can go a lot longer than you expect. So they just ran in and destroyed the commander who was on the front line. Yeah, that's one thing you gotta keep in mind. At this point in the game, it is generally accepted that you should probably pull your commander back unless you want to lose it, which this guy just did here on this flank. I don't think those Titans will reach any further though, because they are now being bombed by strategic bombers, which is something that they tend to not survive. And also they are matched by opposing Titans as well. There you go. Down they go. For some reason there is a random Tech 3 Ravager heavy turret here, which is extremely powerful and extremely expensive. You generally don't want to build that unless you have to. You can see it doesn't reach the enemy in any capacity. They just literally just built that as a band-aid to stop those Titans, but it wasn't necessary either way. And here we have the Seraphim equivalent of a Titan. This is called a siege tank. So instead of this heavy assault bot, they've got a siege tank. It's called Othum because once again, Seraphim aliens can get unique names for everything, untranslatable. Yes, these. A lot of people call them, in the community call them slippers because, you know, they're so flat. Just check this out. This is a Tech 3 engineer, for example. There's another one gliding by. This is a, yeah, this is a tank. It's completely flat. It looks like, yeah, it kind of looks like a slipper, so people just call them T3 slippers usually. Alright, anything else happening? Yeah, still this Mexican standoff continues with neither player really having an advantage, to be honest. Although now they're pulling in some T3 mobile artillery, which is basically the same thing as Tech 2 artillery installations, but mobile. Although these still cannot shoot while moving. Remember how I said that some of the stuff cannot shoot while moving? Well, these are it. They can either move or shoot, but not both at the same time. but still, you know, they're more mobile than these, that's for sure. A squadron of T3 gunships, which these are heavy gunships, heavy attack helicopters flying, attempts to destroy Mr. El Pollo, and it looks like they might succeed, or not. There's just, well, there's 5 of them left, still just one shield. Oh, yep. It looks like he actually just blew himself up in order to destroy those gunships, which is an unorthodox choice, but yeah, because his health just got drained instantly once the shield was down. It looked more like he blew himself up, which is, you can, when your commander is destroyed, it explodes like a nuke, deals, I think it's 2500 damage to everything around it. For reference, an actual commander itself has about, yeah, this one here, right, for example, has 1400 health, or 14,000 health, sorry, which has been upgraded, and yeah, when it explodes, it does a 2500 damage in a radius around it. Explodes kind of like a nuke. Even though actual nukes in this game, which yes, there are nukes in this game, actual nukes explode much more violently. They do like tens of thousands of damage, but still, the pattern of the explosion is the same as the exploding commander. The opposing commander, meanwhile, very wisely has left the premises, has gone all the way back to his main base, where he is now constructing what is known as an air grid. So once you've constructed your Tech 3 factory headquarters, you can construct Tech 3 so-called support factories, which are a little bit cheaper, but have only half health. This is another new interesting change that was introduced with the by the community sorry, in the Forged Alliance Forever client. Hey, hello, this guy, welcome. Hope you're enjoying your time here as we're playing some Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever. Well, not playing, but watching and commentating along. I need to eat now, but have fun. Thank you. Have a night. What is it? What do people say usually? Enjoy your meal, right? Sorry, enjoy your meal. And yes, hope to see you soon. Yes, as I was talking about earlier, this kind of air grid, where every air factory is connected to at least 3 power generators. The adjacency bonus to a factory from a power generator is that the factory will be consuming a lot less energy to work. For example, you can see this one, which is only connected to 1 generator, is consuming 1005 energy per second. Meanwhile, this one, which is connected to 4, is consuming 541 energy per second. So massive bonuses, and they are making the same thing. So this is why I'm comparing them. If they were making different units, that would be another thing, but yes, they are making the same unit, and the energy consumption is highly different, as you can see right here. This commander is still on the front line as well. This one's got itself a Tech 3 engineering suite, which allows your commander to construct Tech 3 structures of all kinds. You can see here T3 land factory, T3 mass extractor. It can construct a T3 mass extractor from scratch, T3 defense turret, T3 anti-air turret, and so on and so on. It's also got itself a missile launcher backpack, which means basically it can launch similar missiles to the ones we've seen around here. You know, those missiles that would fly in very slowly. A commander can also have one of these, but the difference is that one does much more damage, of course, you know. Otherwise, what would be the point of outfitting a commander with this thing? Meanwhile, we've got a whole bunch of land units from, who's this again, Zapod, yes, a whole bunch of land units being bombed by bombers, as well as bombed by these gunships. And yeah, as you can see, they are now standing virtually unopposed, or flying virtually unopposed. I think I missed it this time, but there was an air fight before. And with this air fight, basically what happened was the air force of Team 2 was completely wiped out by the superior air force of Team 1. And because of that, the gunships were able to fly in and slay the commander, like we've seen before. This time it looks like Zapod once again realizes his air force is inferior to that of Kiri, but Kiri wants to pursue, which could be very dangerous because he's flying over a whole bunch of anti-air. Air fighters generally, well, not generally, but at all, T3 air fighters have no means to attack ground. They can only attack other flying units, but not ground units. This is why, you know, bombers and gunships are important, because the fighters cannot do everything on their own. They won't win you the game on their own. They will just bring you very close to winning it. It means we're going to see a defense Billy. Oh, you think? Oh, so you know what Supreme Commander is about. That's good to know. Welcome, I hope you enjoy. I'm working with a more of a noob friendly style today, so to make sure that people who don't know much about the game can still enjoy it, well, relatively speaking. Alright, we've got a Titan push coming in from Sailor Moon, trying to run around the opposing defenses and straight into the heart of the enemy base. This could be extremely painful. You've got a whole bunch of upgraded massive structures here. They are only T2, they aren't T3, but they could be very easily lost here. But then, a massive swarm of Janus bombers, which are Tech 2 fighter bombers of the UEF, flies in. These guys cover a very large area with a whole bunch of napalm, as you can see right here. It just burns away the enemy health slowly. The problem is they're mostly good against T1 units. They aren't very good against T3 units because those just have too much health for the Januses to chew through. But with so many of them in the area, they could still have a chance, although never mind. I think, yeah, the fighters from Sailor Moon fly in and completely, of course, wipe out those Janus bombers, no chance whatsoever. Meanwhile, the Ythiltha, which is something we haven't seen in this game yet, walks in and completely wipes out this defensive position with the commander fleeing in horror. So the Ythiltha is what's called an experimental unit. This unit is extremely big, and this one completely stomps on every lesser unit, just wipes them out of existence without even noticing them. The Ythiltha, as you can see right now, 80,000 health, completely ridiculous DPS. I'm not even gonna... Well, I should probably check the DPS anyway. You've got, what is this, cannon DPS, yeah. You can see 1200 DPS, 500 DPS, and 1800 DPS. It's got three separate weapons. That's the DPS of those weapons. Compare this, for example, to this Percival assault pod right here. This one's got itself 333 DPS, so yeah, like half of one of the Ythiltha's weapons. And it's got 3 of these. So yes, it can, yeah, this unit can easily wipe out entire opposing armies, and usually the way you match it is either destroying it with a whole bunch of bombers, like Mr. Tolstychok attempted to do but failed, or alternatively, you can match it with a similar, your own unit of a similar caliber, is what I was trying to say. Yeah, so it doesn't look like a defense Billy is on the cards for now. He's not upgrading, so the Billy, what this guy is talking about, the Billy is an upgrade for the tactical missile launcher. This is a unique upgrade for the UEF. No other commander has this. This is basically, instead of normal tactical missiles, instead starts throwing nukes. However, these nukes can still be stopped by the same tactical missile defense as the normal missile, but you'll need like, I'm pretty sure you'll need like 4 or 5 shots to stop one of these nukes from actually landing. Another airfight seems to be brewing. Meanwhile, a strategic missile has been launched by Sailor Moon, which strategic missiles are, well, the same thing. These are essentially nukes of this game. You can launch them from a stationary silo, or you can build some ships that also carry nukes on them. And these can only be stopped by something called a strategic missile defense, which takes quite a while to charge up. And here, you can see that Zapot does not possess such a device, so his entire base gets wiped out, and there is no more air production for him for quite a while. Yes, so Tolstychok, meanwhile, is not doing anything still, just kind of chilling there. T3, oh yes, the Tech 3 engineering suite done for the commander of Kiri. No other fancy stuff so far. I think the Ythiltha of the red player, or well, I mean dark red, coordinate red, Sailor Moon has retreated, though I cannot see it anywhere, which is a little bit bizarre. If I can press, yeah, I can press Ctrl+L here, I should be able to see them. Oh yeah, there is the damaged one, is slowly but surely regenerating his health. Meanwhile, the other one is standing over here just chilling. Yes, so veterancy is another mechanic that you've got in this game. I'm pretty sure you've got it in a lot of strategy games. Well, in Warcraft, for example, you've got your hero experience. This is essentially the same thing, but for basically every unit. In particular, the Ythiltha has veterancy. Well, it needs to destroy a whole bunch of mass, basically thousands of mass, in order to get any sort of veterancy. And veterancy comes in 5 levels. Each level increases the maximum health of the unit, as well as health regeneration. So, normally when an Ythiltha is built, I think it's got some 40-odd thousand health. I'm not entirely sure on that. Oh, well, we've got a fresh one right here. We can actually see, yeah, 67,000 health and 20 per second regeneration. This one, because of the veterancy, has got itself 87,000 health and 95 regeneration per second, so almost, yeah, basically like triple the amount of regeneration, and also basically 50% more health. Quite crazy what this veterancy can do. Meanwhile, though, of course, the opponents are rolling out their own equivalents. This is the UEF Fat Boy, the namesake of our player Fatty over here, the light blue player. The Fat Boy is unique in that it can dish out a lot of punishment, but it can take very little in return. This Fat Boy, for example, gets caught out of position and will get completely annihilated by this massive swarm of gunships that Kiri has been able to produce. You can see they just shredded in seconds, because the Fat Boy has very little health. It's got like 18,000 in total when you factor in his shield. Meanwhile, though, the Sailor Moon has come out with an Awasa, which is an experimental bomber of the Seraphim. It basically just drops nukes on enemy bases. I think one bomb does 11,000 damage, which is not quite as much as a normal nuke, but it might as well be, because it's usually enough to wipe out pretty much any building that you can see standing there. Yep, there you go. T3 Mass Extractor is just completely deleted without even leaving wreckage behind. It's going to, yeah, the fighters of Tolstychok are, of course, or sorry, of Zapad are attempting to pursue it, of course, but they are completely wiped out by the superior fighter screen of Sailor Moon. Oh god, I zoomed in on the minimap by accident. And now the base of Tolstychok, the main base, is going to get bombed as well. The Awasa still has about 6,000 health left over, which could be very well destroyed, very easily destroyed by the opposing fighters, but there are no more fighters, there's just the Janos bombers, and they will definitely not be good enough for the job. Another bomb dropped on mostly empty area. We've got a desync here, but don't worry. What desync basically means is that there's you are no longer seeing what the players were seeing during the game. However, at this point, I'm pretty sure it's pretty obvious who's going to win, because yes, we've got a Novak satellite constructed here by, who was this again? Tolstychok, yes, by Mr. Fatty. Constructed a Novak satellite, which is another experimental unit. This one sends a satellite into orbit, and then the satellite is completely untargetable. It can go wherever it wants, see wherever it wants, and also attack whatever it wants, as long as it's on the surface or on land. But with this massive swarm of gunships, I'm actually curious how many gunships this is. Can I even see? Yeah, I can. So this is, yeah, 37 broadsword gunships, you know, just casually entering the shield dome, and well, they will probably destroy the Novaks even faster than they destroyed the Fat Boy. And at this point, there is basically no hope of comeback for Team 2, because, you know, the Fat Boys have been wiped out. Both of them, actually, not just one from Tolstychok. Zapad had his own Fat Boy, it also got wiped out, and now, after that, they've basically got nothing left, so they just quit the game and ended it right there. I forget the specifics, but nukes take 5 minutes to build unassisted. Yeah, exactly. So one strategic missile defense unit, I'm pretty sure it can stop like it can stop essentially 2 strategic missile launchers. So yes, in this game the nukes are constructed within the launch silo, because, you know, to reduce the transportation cost, I guess. And yes, normally a nuke defense unit, yeah, it builds a nuke defense like faster than the nuke launchers, but if you start your nuke defense later than the enemy starts the launcher, then you run a definitive risk of getting your base wiped out, just like Zapad found out here. And yes, the replay is over. Let's go and start watching the next one. I wonder which one I should be showing next. I've prepared a couple here. We've got another 3v3 matchmaking replay here. We've got what seems to be 4v4 matchmaking replay here. And then, yeah, we also got this one, which is a 6v6, and it's a lobby game, not a matchmaking game. So overall, lots of pretty cool stuff, I dare say. Which one should we do first? I guess we should start with the easier one and get... Yeah, sure, let's start with this one. The timings here are inaccurate, by the way. They definitely, you know, this is the time that the players experience the game in. We can, of course, we will experience it much faster because we won't have any net lag, which is normally the bane of your existence whilst you are playing. Because some people have slower computers, some people have slower internet connection. And that can definitely ruin the experience, because if one player is too slow, everybody else will be just as slow for those slow players to catch up. This is going to be another randomly generated map. Interestingly, it looks, the generator states that the map is 20 by 20, but it looks so small. It's basically, it looks more like a 10 by 10. So I'm guessing when you do matchmaking, team matchmaking, the generator creates maps. Even if it creates a 10 by 10 map, it will still tell you that it's a 20 by 20 map, because, well, that's just how the templates are set, I suppose. So yes, this game will be watching, once again, a 3v3 matchmaking game. New feature that was recently added, like a week or two ago, I'm pretty sure. And yes, we're going to be watching in the purple corner. Starting from purple this time. Starting from the north is going to be Johnny B. What a cool name. At almost 700 rank points, playing UEF in Blues Blue, going first land. Moving further to the south is going to be our first Cybran of the game, is going to be Ursus something. Yes, playing Cybran at 600 rank points in what looks to be Shrinking Violet, going first land as well. Their last teammate for this match is going to be Vanga. Oh, what a cool name. At almost 1000 rank points, playing UEF in Thalassophobia Blue and also going first land. Meanwhile, their opponents for the day are going to be, first and foremost, Mustera at 700 rank points, playing UEF once again in Cornate Red and going first land. The second opponent will be Flawless_FA, what a cool badass name. Going first air this time, playing Aeon in Fresh and Fragrant Orange at 600 rank points. And last but not least for this match and for this particular team, we are going to be looking at Mr. Kelch or Kelch or whatever, Kelch I guess 35, playing Cybran in Cornate Red, going first land. So yes, in terms of rank points, you can see that they are, you know, you might find them a little bit lackluster if you're an experienced player, but you have to keep in mind, you know, this is a brand new feature, 3v3 matchmaking, right? When you enter a brand new matchmaking system, your rank is going to be 0. So at this point, everybody is still building up their rank to where it's actually supposed to be. So yes, it's it's going to be their actual rank, like their rank when they play in lobbies, might be much higher than this. We won't know because, well, you might know if you know these players, but just I don't, okay? This is a very interesting map that the generator has created. I have no idea what these weird curves and shapes are about. To me, this looks like, you know, those AI generated images when, you know, the AI has trouble with like human ears or fingers or, you know, stuff like that. This looks to me basically like the same thing, like the AI just had a stroke and decided to draw some random weird lines everywhere. But interestingly enough, there is a massive batch of mass points at the middle of the map, on this middle like intersection, I guess we should call it. So we should definitely expect some very active fighting over these extractors over here. Let's see what the players can come up with. Flawless, meanwhile, is already building up some factories, which will start churning out, of course, you know, tanks and scouts, as you'd expect. Meanwhile, Johnny B and both Johnny B and Ursus are still making their way towards the middle. While Vanga, for example, decides to go along the southern path and is actually just building, well, yeah, they're still going to be walking towards the south. But meanwhile, the enemy engineers have already beat them to it and already reclaimed a whole bunch of useful stuff. Yeah, unfortunately, like I've outlined before in one of my casts that I've recently uploaded, if I hold Ctrl+Shift, you cannot see any sort of stuff at the top right. This is because all the new replays do not have the total reclaim you see on screen feature anymore. The reason being that They have, the developers of FAF have disabled this for now, as they are planning to incorporate the actual, advanced reclaim view into the main client without needing to install any additional mods, but for now they are still working on it, so we will not be seeing that for now. Anyway, a very sneaky naval factory, so yes, this time we're going to be looking at some naval battles as well. A very sneaky naval factory being attempted here by Mr. who's this again? Our Miss, more probably Miss Vanga is like a female name, I'm pretty sure. A name of very famous prophet lady. I'm guessing this is what it's referencing, at least. But I could be wrong, you never know. Meanwhile, Mustera is joining Flawless on the front lines, or I guess prospective front lines. It's currently not a front line, as the units out from Flawless are sent against a sentry gun or a defense turret. They will actually succeed in wiping out the turret. The commander has to get distracted and actually destroy them, shoot back. Of course, they are no trouble whatsoever for the commander, but the turret is lost. Have to rebuild that and spend additional resources on it. Alright. Meanwhile, what is our friend Kelch about? Kelch is actually crossing these streams and attempting to... Yep, there you go. Is building the torpedo upgrade. So the torpedo upgrade is a unique upgrade that only the Cybran commander can have. No other commander in the game can do that. Yes, it's called the torpedo launcher, essentially. It's a very powerful torpedo launcher in the early game that can easily sink opposing ships, at least T1 ships, definitely no chance at all. The problem is there are no submarines in the area, and those submarines are already blasting the commander. Of course, one submarine cannot feasibly kill an opposing commander, but it's still standing there. It's going to still be standing there for 2 minutes trying to build up that torpedo launcher, and it even seems to be stalling now. Yeah, oh yeah, massive energy stall. I'm not sure what that's all about. I'm guessing, the torpedo launcher being such a powerful upgrade costs a fair chunk of energy, which is why we are currently in some trouble. Also, it's kind of weird if I zoom out, or, well, you can see that there's like a weird red aura around the Cybran commander. He actually cancels the torpedoes and runs away. Oh, you know why? Yeah, this is why. Because the engineers that were tending to the factory decided to instead start building up a whole bunch of torpedo launchers of their own. And this could have actually wiped out the commander before he could have finished it, so he just cancelled. Which means half of the resources, or all of the resources that he's already put into it, are completely wasted. The unfortunate part about cancelling any projects, and he has to retreat. Meanwhile, though, both Johnny and Urzuj have to retreat as a massive swarm of tanks suddenly rolls in. This is from both Mustera as well as Flawless. Of course, it's preferable you destroy the opposing units first, like normal units, not commanders, because it's much harder to destroy the commander, but yeah, they wipe out the position completely, and also the mantises from Kelch are coming in as well to clean up the rest of the tanks. Now, if they could send some engineers towards this, sorry, yeah, I'm gonna be coughing periodically. If they could send some engineers to reclaim all of this, it would be most ideal, because as of now, it seems like the commanders of Team 1 are still the ones who stand to gain from this, as they will, suck up all of the reclaim, not just from their own tanks, but from the enemy tanks as well. Of course, oh yeah, there's also a whole bunch of tanks from Vanga running in as well, trying to fix the error of their teammates. Of course, the Aurora tanks, they hover above ground, which means they can also go on water, so they can go for some extreme flanking maneuvers. However, this time they get caught by the commander of Johnny B, so kind of have to run away here. Yeah. I don't understand what this red aura is that we just saw around the upgrade. It was normally white, but the way we just zoomed in, yeah, see right now, there it's red. I have no idea what that's all about. And there's also some more red. I'm guessing it must be because of the map, because the map is unique, or of the map's unique color scheme, I should say. But yes. Tech 2 going up for Mustera, that's what we were seeing. He's already got himself a gun upgrade, so a very powerful early game commander. Tech 2 defense turret is being constructed now by Flawless, already wiping out, yeah, you can see. One shot, one kill for this turret, the Aeon Oblivion cannon. If this was any other turret, it could not have wiped out, the enemies so quickly, even if they are T1. But the Oblivion Cannon can do that. However, here comes a counter. There is now a Salem class Tech 2 destroyer, which is a ship. It's a unique ship because it can actually crawl on land. You can see sprouted legs just get out the water. Unfortunately though, it just ran head first into 50 enemy tanks and got destroyed immediately. Yes, this is the work, of course, of Urzush, who is now building those Salem destroyers and sending them closer towards the enemy positions. And there's a very good reason for it. The Salem class destroyer outranges basically all of the opposing Tech 2 units, as well as Tech 2 turrets. However, it won't work too well when you send it alone straight into the enemy lines like this. That it definitely tends to not work out for you, because it just gets destroyed like this. Very unfortunate indeed. Meanwhile, though, the Tech 2 Navy of Mr. Who's this again? It is Johnny, yeah, the Tech 2 Navy of Johnny is very much threatened by the opposing tanks, which are the Cybran Tech 2 amphibious tanks, which can crawl underwater. Meanwhile, Kelch is reclaiming the factory and succeeds in doing so. So yeah, this was a Tech 2 naval factory. This is a massive resource investment for Johnny B, and now it's completely gone. And also Kelch sucks it up and destroys it. He also did, in fact, manage to get a torpedo upgrade somehow. I guess he just ran away and then got a torpedo upgrade and then came back in. The Cybran Wagner tanks, of course, they can crawl underwater and then emerge on land. However, this time around, they run into a whole bunch of opposing Titans out from Johnny, so they just get completely shredded to pieces. Even more Titans coming in from the base now will put a stop to this Wagner push completely. You just might want to leave a couple of them, like over here, to guard against the enemies, but other than that, yeah, it's going to be mostly successful in stopping the opposing push. The one lonely cruiser that Johnny managed to put out before his naval factory got destroyed is proving to be some trouble for the enemies, as it can blast them from far away using those tactical missiles without them being able to shoot back, of course. The best kind of combat is the one where you can shoot the enemies without them being able to shoot back, you know. And that's exactly what he's doing here. Built one cruiser now. Cruisers excel mostly at their very large intelligence radius as well as their air defense. This is the main purpose of cruisers in this game. However, UEF and Seraphim cruisers, for example, have got themselves tactical missiles, which are extremely, of course, long-range bombardment tool. However, those tactical missiles do not help at all when you get surrounded by opposing amphibious tanks who just shoot torpedoes at you, because cruisers have no torpedoes to respond to that, so tends to not work out very well for them cruisers in this kind of situation. Also, submarines will do pretty much the same thing, but the thing about submarines is that, you know, submarines are very expensive for their health and damage output, and so submarines tend to get destroyed very easily by torpedo units like destroyers, or in the case of the UEF, the torpedo boat. Right, so yes, we've got a squadron of Titans running past a whole bunch of Mantises. Of course, one Titan somehow gets destroyed in the Calamity, but other than that, they're mostly good. And they're threatening 4 opposing mass extractors. Oh, this is juicy. Yeah, if they stop here and actually take the time to wipe out those mass extractors, it's gonna be horrific damage against the economy of Kelch. Sorry about that. Yeah, 93 mass per second now. Lost about what is this, 24 mass per, or 36 mass per second from this. And they aren't even done yet. They are now running into the base trying to destroy some more factories, but now they will be met with the opposing commander. He's got himself a gun upgrade, and of course with the overcharge attack, there will be absolutely no problem for this commander to destroy everything. You know, the commander, of course, that is the overcharge. I don't think I explained what that was. Also, I'm still playing at +2 for some reason. It should be 0 for a very long time now. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. The sole surviving Titan still managing to make some trouble for the enemies as it destroys, or almost destroys, the G3 engineer. Decides to target the mass extractor instead. Well, the engineers are much easier to destroy than mass extractors, but this is much more valuable. Resource output's continuously getting wrecked for Kelch. But now I think this is the swan song for this Titan, as it has now run into... as the commander has caught up to it, I mean. There was a very successful attack though, a whole bunch of massive structures destroyed. And Kelch also had to pull back his land force in order to stop it. Meanwhile, though, the Salem destroyers are now working very well for Ursus, as he's now got 3. And when you've got 3, it's a lot harder to get close to them, as you can see right here. Very little Mustera can actually do, considering he hasn't set up any kind of defensive position. Sorry. He might even die here, to be honest, but he very wisely retreats, and now the Salems are targeting the base instead of the commander. So he survives for now. Here come the T2 units of Mustera, immediately targeted by the destroyers, of course, but the T2 units might go a little bit further in terms of wiping them out, considering, you know, they are on land. This is where those tanks are at home, unlike the Salems. But there's also a whole bunch of T2 units, land units, T2 tanks for Ursus, who are also supporting those destroyers. So overall, it's an uneven trade. They just the T2 units for Mustera end up just being thrown away for nothing. Restore gunships out on the field, or I should say in the skies, I guess, for Flawless. The problem is the air-to-ground damage of the restorers is quite pitiful indeed, so they don't even manage to destroy one of these destroyers. And have to retreat. Well, at least, you know, at least he gets to keep them instead of just losing them. But yeah, it didn't solve anything. The destroyers are still there and still blasting. There is now 4 of them, with a 5th one on the way, I'm sure. Yep, there you go. Okay, I got a drink because I don't know what's happening. Oh no. This made everything worse. I choked on the water. Oh god. Let me zoom out so you... At least you can see the full picture. An amazing sneak attack out from Vanga here, building a whole bunch of hover tanks so it can hover over water once again. Similar to the Aeon T1 tanks. And they do a huge sneak attack, destroying a whole bunch of mass extractors for Mustera. These are big mass extractors, dude. Those are T3. Losing them really hurts like hell. And they are being directly targeted by those sneaky pesky riptides. He is definitely losing. Yep, there you go. Definitely lost another one here. However, at this time, the riptides are no longer attacking the extractor, and they're instead targeting the enemy tanks. Which might be a bit of a waste, because you can't kill them all. They'll just get more in your face from this. From these factories. Might as well kill a few more mass extractors while you still can. But I think you switched the targeting priorities, so now they're just destroying the opposing tanks. I heard coughing. Are you dying? No, I've got, you know, something in my throat that I tried to remove by drinking water, but I ended up choking on the water, so it made everything worse. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm still a little bit, you know, recovering a little bit from my hay fever, so that's why I was coughing in the first place, but I know now I have made it a little bit worse. That you can probably hear it in my voice too. This is starting out fantastic. But yes, anyway, we've got Mustera here cowering in the face of the destroyers. I'm not sure if you heard, Lena, but these are, yeah, these right here, these wonderful looking cockroaches are the Cybran ships, which, yeah, the Cybran Salem class destroyer in particular can sprout legs and walk on land if it wants to. So that's exactly what they did here. And the reason this working out is because the Tech 2 destroyers have a much longer range on their primary weapons in comparison to most Tech 2 land units, so it's really hard to match both their range and their damage output. Once again, Mustera is forced to retreat from this position as the destroyers wipe out the remainder of Flawless's forward positions. Can I... Yeah, okay, there you go. For now, though, yeah, this amazing sneak attack that destroyed 3 of the main core T3 mass extractors from Mustera. A sneak attack using hover tanks out from Vanguard was really a highlight so far. That was quite incredible indeed. But now those tanks have been dealt with. However, the damage they caused is truly horrific to Mustero's economy. As you can see right here, yeah, he's only 64 mass per second. Compare that to his teammates who have got 241 and 167, or the enemies, you know, 80, 306, 166 mass per second. This is completely pitiful. And he also almost died like a couple times now to these destroyers, which are still ruling supreme over land. A ship crawls on land and rules supreme, which reigns supreme. What other game could you possibly see that? Yes, Mustero is retreating. The restorer gunships from Flawless are at least good at, you know, wiping out Tech 2 land units, which I think they just killed a bunch of Tech 2 land units that went in from Vanga. But other than that, yeah, they aren't very good at air to ground. Which then being called gunships, which is supposed to be their main purpose, but they're also called anti-air gunships, which means their anti-air weapons are actually better than their primary air-to-ground weapons. Okay, so the ships are now retreating, crawling away, but yeah, they only did that so they wouldn't be surrounded by enemies from a couple sides. And now we've got another gigantic experimental unit of the way. This is the Cybran Megalith. It's got 110,000 health. For reference, if we can find a normal T3 land unit right here, well, it's a T2 unit. Do you get any more T3, any more of them T3 units anywhere? Hello? Oh, there you go. That's the good stuff. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, basically, the purpose of those gigantic experimental units is that one of these units can wipe out basically an entire enemy army on its own, if it's placed correctly, which in this case it is. Well, or hopefully will be, as long as they've got enough intel to know where to send it. And they should have enough intel, because they've got this thing over here. This is a Soothsayer, a unique Cybran building. Only Cybrans can construct that. As you can see right here, what it gives is it gives a huge vision radius. This isn't just radar, this is direct vision. They can directly see everything within this huge radius. That's what the Soothsayer does, and only Cybrans can make it. Of course, in this match we've got Cybrans on both teams. So the Soothsayer is they can both make it. But for now, I think only Ursuj has done that, because not much point for Mr. Kelch to do that, because he's still confined mostly to his own base. And the Megalith works very well with the Soothsayer, because the Megalith has got a bit of a longer range on its cannons compared to other similar units of similar caliber. Yeah, so, oh yeah, for example, yeah, the Salem class destroyer right here, 6,500 health, and what's the damage per second on this bad boy? Let me see. It's torpedo, autocannon, yeah, proton cannon, there you go. So 230 DPS from these, and for the Megalith it's like the DPS is like in the thousands. But yeah, of course it costs, you know, appropriately. If we compare the costs of a Salem destroyer to a Megalith, you can see right here, Salem destroyer is 2200 mass. Meanwhile, if we can find a T3 engineer somewhere, any T3 engineers volunteering to give me information? No? And there must be some in the base, right? Yeah, there you go. A Megalith costs 37,000 mass, 37.5 even, so yeah, it's much more powerful, but also much more expensive. Alright, seems like the enemies have actually found a remedy to this Salem problem. In this case, it's the bricks. Once again, a Cybran heavy armored assault bot. This bot has, I think it costs less than a Salem class, or maybe slightly more, but it's got basically almost 50% more health at 8,200, as you can see right now, so yes. Even despite their longer range, also, of course, the DPS is increased appropriately as well. Even despite their much longer range, the Salem class destroyers are no match for these bricks. It's literally called brick, by the way. You can see it at the bottom left. Very creative the Cybrans are with their naming conventions. Yeah, so these bricks are just walking in and destroying everything. They might technically destroy all of the engineers. They will destroy the Soothsayer as well, as long as they keep targeting it. Hello? They are targeting the megalith, which tends to not work out because the megalith is way too tanky. They could have wiped out all of these engineers and prevented them from building the megalith. Down goes the soothsayer. The generators explode. When you destroy power generators, they tend to explode violently, causing damage to nearby units as well. A monkey lord, which is a much more lightweight experimental unit, but still incredibly strong at 49,000 health, walks in and finishes off the megalith, destroys all of the engineers. It's now... It's normally 45,000 health, but now it's at 54 because of the veterancy. Keeps going in. The restorer gunships out from Flawless are of course supporting from the air as well. They actually managed to wipe out all of the opposing air fighters, even though normally it's not possible. But it is in fact possible here because there are so many more of them than the opposing fighters. The Monkey Lord still keeps walking. Already a 3-star veteran. You can have like 5 total stars of veterancy. The ships are now fleeing the land, going back to the water where they belong as the Monkey Lord approaches. However, they will still get wiped out by the restorers because guess what? Restorers can fly. Yep. The game has suddenly turned around very much in Team 2's favor as they've completely wiped out this huge base that Urzush has constructed for himself, or Urzush or whatever. Ooh, and look at the reclaim field too. Whoever gets here and starts reclaiming all the stuff will be filthy rich. Look at this, 19,000 mass here, 2,400 here, 1,200 here. And it's still up to debate as to who will actually get there. Because you can see, while, you know, this was a devastating attack and everything has been killed, it's still closer to Team 1's base, so they can still send more reinforcements to reinforce this position, which they are doing already, as well as sending some engineers to reclaim the stuff. Meanwhile, the Monkey Lord is finally destroyed, as it was encroaching upon the premises of Vanga here. At this point, I'm not entirely sure what destroyed it, but yeah, they managed to put a stop to it. The restorers are still, however, running rampant. They will be, I feel like they will be wiped out soon though, because cruisers, like I described before, cruisers are extremely good at specifically wiping out flying units, which they are doing right now. So the attack kind of peters out at this point, but still it was quite a devastating attack. But Team 1 may yet recover, as long as they get to reclaim all the stuff which they are doing right now. Team 2's got almost nothing to attack with anymore, they've just got this small squad of bricks. But it might not be enough depending on what Team 1 sends in, of course. They're now sending Titans, which Titans are a bad matchup for bricks normally because bricks are just so much more powerful. But at this point they're also supported by some armored assault bots of the UEF, the Percivals. So the difference between the Percival and a brick is that a Percival tends to have, I feel like it genuinely tends to have more health. Yeah, there you go. Well, almost the same actually. 7,500 versus, what is this now? 7,200. So no, actually never mind. The brick is kind of more tanky, but I feel like the Percival should do more DPS, as we can see right. Yeah, 333. So it's like identical, is it not? Let me see the brick again. 312, so yeah, slightly more DPS out for the Percival. However, another major difference is that the bricks have a much higher rate of fire. Percivals fire single shots and take a while to reload. Of course, the shot is much more powerful, but yeah, it takes a while to reload, so Percivals in general don't do very well against small Tech 1 units, because every shot tends to overkill those units like by a mile, and then a lot of damage is wasted. However, in a Percival versus Brick matchup, typically goes a little bit better for the Percival, specifically because of this higher DPS. Another Monkey Lord has been constructed by Kelch. This one is hiding under water, so there is no way Team 1 can see it. Yep, you can see they cannot see the Monkey Lord. Not only is it underwater, the Monkey Lord also has a stealth field around it, which once again hides it from radars. They do seem to have some kind of huge vision. No, never mind. I was gonna say they seem to have a soothsayer in this area as well, but no, they do not. The Monkey Lord is now being reclaimed by just one engineer, because, you know, if you send too many engineers to reclaim a Monkey Lord, you will just overflow all the mass and waste it. Not quite the case now. The Restorer Squadron is being rebuilt by Flawless. I guess he just decided to, you know, be building Restorers the whole game without much else. Well, that's not exactly true though. He looks to be building a mass farm here, which mass farms are when you run out of means to, you know, get more mass by upgrading mass extractors, and instead go for mass fabricators. So mass fabricators are a lot less efficient in terms of producing energy, producing mass, and they consume tons of energy, which is why he's building so many power generators as well. But the thing about mass fabricators is that unlike mass extractors, those can be built anywhere. So once you run out of mass extractors to build, your next step is to start building mass fabricators, because, well, you've got no better option, essentially. Somebody's built another experimental unit. It is also a Monkey Lord, this time out from Ursus. So yeah, the Megalith project did not work out too well. By the way, the Megalith has been reclaimed now. You can see it's no longer there. But yeah, it didn't go too well, so he's decided to start with something smaller, like a Monkey Lord. The Monkey Lord's long range, these cannons right here, aren't particularly great. But, you know, they're still good enough to wipe out engineers as well as mass extractors, because those can't really shoot back. However, a horror approaches the main base of Johnny B. Look at this. 2 Monkey Lords have snuck underwater and are now almost at his base. Oh, this is not good. If he does not see it coming, he could lose the entire base easily. Look at this. He has no idea the Monkey Lords are here still. They are almost at the doorstep. They will emerge any second now and start shooting, and he has no idea this is happening. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad for our old boy Johnny here. He's got no defense against the Monkey Lords whatsoever. Just a couple Titans and Engineers, and they are not sufficient in any way. Yep, there you go, the 2 horrifying, this is called the, I think the weapon is called the heavy microwave laser that the Monkey Lords use. Look at this devastation. There are 2 Ravager turrets all off on the side, which do tend to work great against experimental units, but just 2 of them will not be enough. Yep, the Monkey Lord's just walking freely, wiping out the fat boys that the Johnny was attempting to construct, wiping out all of the factories as well. Ooh, this is painful. I don't think they noticed the power generator, but that's okay. Yeah, as you can see, 2 Ravagers are no match for 2 Monkey Lords either. This is serious stuff right here. Do they even see it? Do they see it coming? I'm not sure. Well, they must see it now. They must be scrambling to make something happen in order to stop this madness. We'll see if they actually come up with something yet. Okay, we've got another big batch of Salems, and the Megalith now has been complete as well for Ursus, so he is very much poised to strike towards the front lines of Kelch, but Kelch is attacking from the backside. Another Monkey Lord somehow found its way past all of the main forces of Ursus. I have no idea how they keep managing that, but yes, they did in fact just completely run by unopposed, and are now wiping out his backline as well. His main base is now also threatened. The Monkey Lords are now approaching. He is now scrambling to produce some T1 attack bombers, but sorry. Whoops, my bad. Those only work against Monkey Lords in very large quantities. Okay, there is a rival Monkey Lord out from Ursus, which is supposed to stop it, but I don't think it can stop the second Monkey Lord. Yep, there you go, gets destroyed. Now the base is threatened. Yeah, if he's smart, he's gonna target the generators because they blow up and destroy everything around them as well. And the mass extractors are gonna get wiped out too. At least a couple of them. Yep, there you go, another generator blows up, destroys another factory. The shields, of course, you know, one shield is no match for him for the power of a Monkey Lord. All of the engineers might get destroyed. No, he's targeting the... what is it? Okay, the laser is still figuring out. Okay, he's just destroying a couple engineers. I would have probably destroyed the Titans first if I were you, because it's not exactly hard to do. But now with some gunships coming in, I think this Monkey Lord's reign of terror is finally coming to an end. I'm wondering what happened to the other Monkey Lord that somehow managed to sneak through the front line, because I'm not seeing it on the map anymore. You can very clearly see experimental units on the minimap because they look like those like dots, large circles. Yeah, you can see a circle right here. Okay, let me see. Where is the other Monkey Lord? It looks like it just collapsed somewhere around here. Yeah. However, the opposing Monkey Lord here has also been wiped out by something. I have no idea what they could have done to do it, but they did. And most of the Salems are gone as well. How? What did you do? How did you destroy them, mate? Oh, the artillery, of course, yeah. The T3 heavy artillery pieces out from Kilch. I guess they did manage to put a stop to those Salems. The Monkey Lord is... Alright, the Monkey Lord, the final Monkey Lord got caught as it emerged from the water. It did, however, manage to wipe out the main naval factory of Ursus before it went away. Ouch. Yes, the devastation is very much palpable. Oh my god, there's a massive squadron of Percivals that somehow... What? How? Okay, these Percivals just like went across the bottom of the ocean, this lake, whatever this is, and somehow just emerged out of the blue and start just wiping out the base of Vanga as well. Vanga himself is of course also hiding underwater, hoping that nobody will find him there. Nobody will ever find him. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but now there is a fat boy in the area from Vanga trying to pick up the pieces, trying to stop this massive horde of Percivals. This is a huge amount of Percivals, like genuinely. This is how many is this? Yeah, 30 still left, and they are still marching. If the fat boy rolls towards them, they could actually easily destroy the fat boy as well. See how fast they're wiping those Titans and Percivals as well. It's just complete and utter madness. Yeah, the fat boy is way too close. If I were Mustera here, I would have just targeted the fat boy immediately and completely slaughtered it. You can see sorry, I said 18,000 health before. It's actually like 32,000 health in total. But the Percivals easily have enough damage to destroy that. Well, they started doing that, but a little bit too late. The shield on the fat boy is overloaded and gone, but the main health is still intact. Now they are fighting the opposing Titans and Percivals, and that won't really work out all that well because there are so many factories just pumping out more Titans in their faces directly. So this is where the attack stops. For some reason fighters fly in from Flawless trying to stop the gunships, but it's a little bit too late, too late now. Alright, so anti-air sound launchers being constructed near the borders by a support commander out from Vanga. This is one thing I didn't mention yet, because the game hasn't really lasted that long. Support commanders are units that you can produce out of this building called the Quantum Gateway. Support commanders are like lesser versions of your main commander. They are essentially, they can be also outfitted with upgrades for combat or for resource output or for faster construction, whatever suits your needs. And you can build however many you want of them. Yeah, this is one thing I also didn't mention, is that there is no really no pop cap for any unit in this game. You can build as much of any unit as you want. There is a global unit cap, which is, you know, for basically how many units there can be on the map in total, but that's about it. Not much else. Okay, this megalith is just being shot to pieces by an opposing megalith while not shooting back. I have no idea what's up with that. They should probably run away now. This is not a very good position to be in, just getting blasted by artillery, as well as an opposing megalith while you're just doing nothing. Sorry. Terribly sorry about that. Yes, and now a Monkey Lord and a megalith are marching in from the opposite side, out of Kelch. Of course, there is another megalith being constructed right there, and I don't think they can stop this one before it goes up, so they're kind of walking into a trap here, to be honest, because yeah, there's now 2 megaliths and the Monkey Lord versus 1 megalith and 1 Monkey Lord. Of course, the Monkey Lord is the first to engage, so it goes down instantly. Now, this could prove problematic because the other megalith is still running away, and this one is about to be targeted by both the opposing megalith and the Monkey Lord's laser. However, it looks like with the damage output from the Salems, this is going to be enough. And they've constructed a T3 Omnisensor array on the front line. What it does is, I can show you right here, it has this massive radius where you can see everything. Stealth technologies don't work in this radius. Basically, it sees everything even through stealth. Meanwhile, the actual radar coverage that it provides allows it to see directly into the opposing base. So it's incredibly powerful. Now, however, another megalith goes down, and this time a gigantic flying saucer appears. This time now from Flawless. This is called a Tsar, which is the Russian term for a king. I have no idea why they decided to call it that, but basically it's a giant Independence Day style flying saucer. which burns everything in its path with its massive laser. The second megalith goes down for Ursus. I don't think he has any more megaliths left. The Salem destroyers are of course absolutely no match for the power, for the magnificent power of this epic donut. It just, yeah, vaporizes them in seconds, practically. And the Air Force of Flawless is of course in the area as well, supporting the donut so it doesn't get shot down by the opposing fighters. The last Salem in the area is being subjected to laser fire from bricks, and down that goes. The Aeon know Russian, apparently. I mean, I would assume that everybody in the galaxy knows it by the point of, you know, the year 3000, just as they probably speak English and Chinese and whatever other languages are still popular in that day and age. But yeah, the Aeon are apparently the biggest fans, which is weird because, like, half of the Cybran commanders had Russian names in the campaign, so I guess there is a good mixture for everybody. Anyway, yes, there is another fresh monkey lord out from, who's this again? Sorry, Kelch, yes, another fresh monkey lord from Kelch. This is now turning into an absolute experimental graveyard. Look, you've got charred remains of, what is this now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monkey lords, and 2 megaliths are just lying next to each other, waiting to be reclaimed by somebody. Another fat boy rolls in from Ivanga, or perhaps it's the same fat boy, it's kind of hard to tell. Oh, well, he's got 2 fat, or she's got, or they've got 2 fat boys now. The Galactic Colossus, okay, so Flawless has sent his Galactic Colossus forward, and it didn't work. He just ran in and died immediately. Another massive swarm of Percivals is crossing the lakes and is about to threaten the base of Vanga again. However, this time around he is sending his gunships in as an advance vanguard to stop those Percivals. Might not be enough though, because, you know, Vanga does not have fighters, while Flawless does. And, you know, gunships are usually easy prey for fighters. Of course, you know, the UEF broadswords have got a lot of health for the fighters to chew through. But still, I'm pretty sure that tends to not work very well. At this point, though, there are some fighters out from Vanga, and there are also some ground-based anti-air as well, which does ultimately wipe out the fighters. So yeah, I feel like at this point, Flawless really needs to step up his fighter production, but it looks like he's more concentrated on donuts at this point. There would be a button Billy nuke the Rex to deny reclaim. Oh yeah, I would be. Yep, could totally destroy those wreckages with a nuke, of course, or a Billy nuke. But no, they aren't quite doing that. Oh, Karina, welcome. Happy to see you here. Yes, indeed. 1,000 subs, let's go. Thank you for showing up. I know you're like super busy, but I appreciate your presence greatly. It is an absolute joy to have you here, to know that you made it. I hope your day is going well so far. Mine is going absolutely stunning, except, you know, my voice is being a little bit wonky. Yes, my voice is being a little bit wonky today. I'm apparently switching to a Russian accent now. I don't know. We'll see. Oof, a support commander explodes. So yeah, support commander went out to meet all those Percivals. Did not work out very well for the support commander. They are now targeting the factories. If they can destroy those factories, that would be some pretty significant damage. However, unfortunately, I feel like the wreckage of the Percivals could still be reclaimed, and it still would be not a very good trade overall. But we'll see. Maybe they'll send something else in and not allow the opposing engineers to reclaim all those remains. We'll see though. The gunships are still operational and still doing the Lord's work against those Percivals. Those gunships are probably going to be like 5-star veterans very soon. Yeah, you can see pretty much every gunship has veterancy, either 1-star or 2 stars. So the more Percivals are sent in, the beefier those gunships will become, and thus the harder to destroy for the opposing fighters. A couple Percivals have been detached from the main force and went in and wiped out a couple massive structures in the front line. I don't think those massive structures were quite T3 though, judging by the amount of reclaim left behind, so it's not that devastating of a loss. But this definitely was like a very formidable installation here, with a whole bunch of SAM launchers as well as T3 massive structures. This was a horrific loss. Wonky, yes indeed. I am still not even sure to this day if it's a real word or not, but yes. It is indeed very wonky. Something of a similar caliber being attempted by Kelch from the northern side. Yes, looking at the success of his teammates, he's like, yep, let me do it again. Let me show you how it's done. They sent in a Monkey Lord. I think it's a fresh Monkey Lord once again. It has been killed by something, I'm not sure what, but it has died. But the Megalith is still there. I guess it was killed by all of these Ravagers over here, I would assume. But yeah, it did manage to take down a Novax station built up by... Who's this again? Johnny, right, sorry, I keep forgetting the names. Yes, did take down a Novax station being built up by Johnny. For some reason, Johnny decides to not build, you know, a fresh station on top of the wreckage, which would essentially have given him a 50% discount, and instead builds another one nearby. Okay, now he's straight up reclaiming, yeah, I think he's trying to build a fresh Novax on top of the wreckage, but he's misplaced it slightly, and so the engineer is just reclaiming the wreckage instead of building on top of it. This is not correct. I hope he realizes his error and actually fixes it. The Megalith is still hiding underwater. Imagine the gigantic crab. This thing is like literally city-sized, I'm pretty sure, and it's just hiding underwater just casually. And nobody's attacking it. It should be hiding though, because those gunships would shred it extremely easily if it came out, but for now it's relatively safe. Yes, so we are playing Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, or not playing, sorry, I keep saying playing, we aren't playing, we are watching Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever. This is a relatively new friendly stream, so if you've got time, and if you'd like to ask any questions pertaining to the game, please by all means do. It would be my joy to answer, especially to a dear friend like yourself. Alright, the flying saucers are preparing an offensive here on the south. You know, before they went in through the ground, now they're going to be going through the air as well. A nuke has been launched out from somebody, I'm not sure who it was. The nuke does get intercepted, so it doesn't do anything. I think it was launched by this guy, who's the... yeah, there you go. Apocalypse, the T3 strategic missile launcher, so... Yes, Flawless has built himself a nuke launcher, which the nukes themselves are constructed directly within the launch silo. This also means that when the silo is destroyed, it also explodes violently. Not as violently as a nuke, but it's still some serious damage it does. However, yes, this nuke was useless, so the only way to stop a nuke is with an anti-nuke, or a strategic missile defense. And here we've got a strategic missile defense unit right here with 4 missiles already loaded, so we can stop 4 more nukes before it's out of juice. But then you can also constantly charge them up, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's even assisting the nuke launcher with some extra engineers as well. A crowd is probably the size of a stadium. Well, yeah, maybe a stadium, yeah. Not quite city size, maybe stadium size, but it is. It's still hilarious for that thing to hide underwater. I love your thumbnails on the videos. I have to leave because I've got a migraine and tried to pop. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope it gets better for you throughout the day, because you know, for you the day is mostly just started. It's just, you must have just had lunch recently, but yeah, I'm sorry about that. Love your thumbnails on the videos, they are fire, thank you. I'm not sure entirely which thumbnails you're referring to. Oh god, my bad, sorry, I was reading chat and didn't notice that both of the donuts for Flawless, both of these majestic flying saucers have been sent in, and both of them were destroyed. However, they did in fact take down this majestic, or not, okay, this thing isn't majestic, they took down this very valuable nuke defense unit. So now, if Flawless were to launch a nuke now, I'm pretty sure our friend Vanga would be in a world of trouble. But at this point, Vanga has also constructed a T3 artillery installation, so yes, it is that stage of the game where people are finally building T3 artillery installations, those endgame units that can shoot across the entire map and directly into your base. You can see damage already being done or not. Okay, I'm not sure what these are. I think those are just random enemy tanks that randomly just wandered in. But yeah, they are targeting the nuke launcher, which is not shielded, so normally if it would hit a shield, it would be relatively okay. But this nuke launcher, as well as this nuke defense unit, which are for some reason right next to each other, I'm not sure what that's all about, but they're also not shielded, so they could be very easily destroyed by a couple shots from these artillery installations. A nuke has been launched. This time around, this nuke eliminator right here is not quite operational. It's got no missiles inside it, so it cannot stop any nukes right now. Has he got any more? Or is this going to be the end for the artillery installation? Because I do love watching nukes explode. That's one thing I could watch all day. I boosted the tag, but what? Sorry? Oh! Down goes not only the currently operational artillery installation, but also the one next to it, the second one he was building. Ow. So yeah, you could say despite both of these donuts being lost, they still accomplished their goal because the artillery installations were destroyed. And also no reclaim whatsoever left behind because the nukes just do so much damage. So yeah, Vanga has been dealt quite a devastating blow indeed. Okay, oh! Wait, where the... see, because I was watching all of that, I missed the megalith. I have no idea what the megalith did. The crab is no longer here with us. Wait, what is that? There is a random random remains of a monkey lord just somewhere. Oh, right, the gunships are now attacking. They are flying around the enemy base, trying to target some important object in the back line. Not quite sure what that object is supposed to be though. There is no artillery here, no endgame units of any kind. They're just flying into the enemy base, trying to destroy some generators, I guess. Of course, they won't be successful. Not only is there a ton of shields, there is also the flying saucers in the area, so that will destroy them quite easily, as you can see right here. Also, I have the following stop a nuke. That is not an anti. Oh, right, yeah, my bad. All right, so yeah, there are technically more ways to stop a nuke, but they are, you know, they are a little bit harder to pull off, you know. The nuke defense unit is constructed specifically for that purpose, to stop a nuke. Meanwhile, if because of the ballistics, the way this game works is that if your projectile hits something it wasn't intended to hit, it will still explode and do damage there where it hit. So same applies to nukes. If a nuke hits a flying saucer, for example, this satellite right here, if a nuke hits that, it will explode on that instead of the intended target. That's another way you can stop a nuke. That is true. Sorry. And of course, you know, the primary purpose of a donut is of course wiping out land armies in seconds, just like you saw right there. Destroyed a fat boy, in addition to a whole bunch of what I assume to be assault bots. Hard to say at this point because they've been completely vaporized. Strategic bombers fly overhead and also drop their bombs on random turrets. Why? Well, whatever. Yeah. 2 monkey lords once again are most likely going to get wiped out by this donut as well. This one is almost finished. The other one operational, but for some reason the donut isn't targeting it, but instead just flying. I guess the donut is trying to first and foremost destroy the anti-air defense. I have no idea what this donut is doing. Moving on. Yeah, so in the same vein, technically an artillery shell can hit a nuke while it's in flight and also destroy the nuke. That also works, that is correct. Fighters fly in as well as bombers, supporting the donut with everything they've got in the air. I feel like it's pretty much, yeah, it has paid off, considering it's destroyed 54,000 mass, but considering the fact that it will also crash somewhere nearby and leave the reclaim to the enemy team, the net gain was probably kind of like zero. You know, considering how much mass we've spent on building it. The Novak satellite is now operational as well for Johnny. How many? Oh, he's got 2 of them actually. He's rebuilt the old one and finished the other one. So now both of these satellites will be causing all kinds of havoc against the enemy team. You really need to pay attention. Basically, the satellite, what it does is, since it can fly anywhere and target anything, it is very good at destroying buildings that you haven't protected. For example, you can see right here, it's wiped out all of these mass extractors because it just flies over them, cannot be targeted by anything, and just completely destroys them. Like this. Giga Train, welcome, cool game. I agree. I love this game as well. Which is why I'm playing it right now. I haven't, well, oh, okay, not playing, watching, but anyway, you get my idea. I've very rarely actually played it or watched it in the last few months, which, considering how much love I've received from the community of this game, I felt like I had to give the love back, so this is what I'm doing today as my celebration. Okay, this base is about to get wiped out because I'm pretty sure something big has been finished. Yes, indeed, something extremely big has been finished for Ursuj. This is the Scathis. This is one of the ultimate endgame units that exist. what the Scathis does, as you can see right here, it fires like about, I think it's like 30 shells per volley, and each of these shells also hurts like hell. So you can see right here an extremely gigantic radius of destruction that it can cause. Basically all of these shields are now damaged from just one volley. So it is an extremely devastating weapon of war. Yep, once again, a whole bunch more shells are flying. You can see, yep, see? All of the shields might get deleted at the same time. And then you'll be in a world of trouble because your entire base will get wiped out in unison. Another nuke being launched by who's this again? Flawless, right. Meanwhile, though, a rival Scathis has been constructed by Kelch, so basically both Kelch and Ursus are going toe-to-toe all throughout this game, constructing pretty much same stuff at the same time. So they're, yeah, very much evenly matched players here. The Scathis is targeting unprotected enemy bases. This is, oh, wait, what? This whole time this guy didn't have an anti-nuke? Really? Well, goodbye. One of the Novak station gets destroyed, and when a station gets destroyed, the satellite that has been connected to it just falls down from orbit. You can probably even see it falling down somewhere here. I don't know, well, it depends on where it was before. Oh, the base of Ursus is taking some serious damage. Yes, Cybran shields are the weakest in their class. Because Cybrans, you know, they're all about low health but high mobility, so the shields also reflect that they've got the weakest shields, which is a serious problem when you're getting blasted from across the map by something as devastating as this. Look at all these explosions, my god. What's the name of the game? The name of the game is Supreme Commander Forged Alliance. It's a 2007 title, but you know, back when it was released, because of all the innovative mechanics and the way it works, back when it was released, basically nobody could play it properly because it was just too good for, or too powerful for the computers of that era. Today, in this day and age, our computers are good enough for it, and still, this, because of the unique mechanics and unique features this game has, it's still receiving lots and lots of love, you know, to this day. Thousands of people still play it daily. Of course, you know, it's not as popular as, for example, Age of Empires 2, but it's got a very dedicated fandom which is just won't die. And I love it for it. Alright, so yeah, the Scathis are just pretty much targeting each other at this point. Weak shields, but they have a hidden benefit. They build fast and cheap. Yes, indeed. Their shields are in fact cheaper. At least, you know, most of the the T2 shields and their upgrades are relatively cheap, and they can continuously restore the shields by just continuously upgrading them. At this point, all of the engineers are helping this one shield, trying to keep it up, but they fail, and now the donut is directly on top of the Scathis, which means the Scathis is boned. Boom! There you go. Down goes the Scathis. And this is a serious problem, because I'm pretty sure the opposing Scathis is still alive. Ursus Ctrl+K is out of the game, just leaves the game, because he thinks at this point resistance is futile. Another massive wave of bricks supported by a megalith walking across the land bridge, which is interesting because if they choose to, they can walk across the bottom of the lake. Yes, so, yes, also Gigatrain, if you'd like to ask any questions pertaining to this game, please do so. This stream is intended to be noob friendly, which means I will attempt to answer as many questions as I can, regardless of what these questions are. Yet another Tsar being sent against Team 1. This time, this one is targeting the frontal fire base, and it won't get too much luck, won't have too much luck, because there are so many entire defense turrets at this instance, at this point, that it just gets destroyed in 10 seconds and goes down. So at this point, we're left as a 2 versus 1. Of course, you know, this game is being played with full share, which means even though Ursus has quit the game, he is no longer playing, all of his stuff gets transferred to someone else. In this instance, all of his properties have been transferred to Vanga, who is now in control of the base. I'm not sure they're building anything. Okay, they're trying to build a whole bunch of just, yeah, T3 anti-air SAM launchers. Vanga is so mad at those donuts constantly flying in and destroying everything that they're like, okay, you know what? I'll cover the entire map in SAM launchers if I have to. Okay, but your donuts will not fly anywhere anymore. Crabs and monkeys are faster walking underwater. Oh, I actually didn't know. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that is something, see? Some fun trivia that I'm learning here. I did not know that. And once again, you can see the Novak satellite, the other satellite that is somehow still standing, is just wiping out those mass extractors completely for free. And these are super expensive. These are T3 mass extractors. Once again, these are the best ones. And they're just being, yeah, see, completely destroyed, and you can't shoot back at this thing. The only way to destroy a satellite is to either, like I said before, destroy the station, which I have no idea how this is still standing considering the enemy still has a Scathus, or the other way you can once again utilize the ballistics of the game to directly hit the satellite with an artillery shell or a nuke. But, you know, that is very hard to pull off, considering, see, its movement pattern, it's really hard to do anything of the sort. The Scathus, oh, the Scathus gets destroyed by what? What? Oh my goodness. Ooh, the artillery. Okay, so Vanga has rebuilt the artillery installations here, and the Scathus has been destroyed now. Oof. Oof. That was painful. Yeah, this at that point, Kelch probably thought, okay, we've definitely won this game. You know, we've got the Scathus that's been shooting for so long. Nothing can oppose it anymore. Nope. Just a humble, relatively humble at this point in the game, T3 heavy artillery installation, just one of them, is enough to destroy your super mega ultra death late game unit if it's targeted correctly under the right circumstances. Alright, so yeah, of course at this point every commander is hiding underwater, nobody knows where they are. At least I'm pretty sure if you click on Team 2's perspective you cannot see this commander. I'm sure you can't see Vanga's commander either. And same applies, and the reverse also applies. Yes, indeed. You're underwater, so you cannot see them. All right. So what's the next idea for ending the game then? You know, they've built and they've rebuilt and they've destroyed. They've wiped each other's entire bases at this point in the game. So and none of that worked. Nobody still has won. So what do we do then? Let's wait and see, I suppose. Luckily, the Novak station is still surviving, so the satellite is still being a little pissed. About to destroy 2 more mass extractors because, you know, nobody's just thinking about covering them with shields. They are covered by air defense, they are covered by missile defense, but not by shields. Okay, well, with these 2 support commanders in the area, I am sure they can spare some time to construct a couple shields, and maybe even a couple high engineering stations in order to keep up these shields longer, because it really doesn't take much to keep up a shield against a Novak satellite. The base of operations for Kelch is still being targeted by those artillery pieces, even though there isn't much on it, really. The Scathus has been destroyed. They aren't targeting the wreckage of the Scathus, which they could have in order to destroy the reclaim. So the enemy can't reclaim it. They aren't targeting that, they're just randomly targeting generators. Oh, there you go, never mind what I said before. The wreckage of the Scathus is destroyed, nobody can reclaim that. Exactly what I was saying. I guess he was, or they were targeting that after all. Still nothing in the main base of Kelch, or maybe this was the main base, I'm actually not sure at this point, I don't remember where they started. Another nuke being launched, is this like the 4th or 5th nuke that this launcher has produced? I've lost count. This one is going towards where exactly? Somewhere up top. I will laugh really hard if this nuke is being sent against the satellite, considering it's about to get wiped out anyway by the megalith. Well, maybe they do need a little bit of help, because the bricks just get instantly shredded by the Ravagers, so maybe this is valid. Just make sure to not destroy... Okay, thank you. I was gonna say, just make sure to not destroy your own... Not damage your own megalith with the nuke. That would be embarrassing. Okay, well, not your own, but your allied megalith, I guess I should say. Also, they are no longer building donuts, which I guess makes sense because the donuts are no longer working with so many SAM launchers everywhere. But what's the next stage then? They are building a couple of galactic colossi. You know, technically, the support commanders can be outfitted with personal teleporters, and then they can teleport in the enemy backline and build something there. Or even if they don't build something, you can also outfit the Aeon support commanders in particular, can be outfitted with something called a sacrifice module, which allows them to sacrifice themselves, but by instantly putting all of the mass that's been invested into them, by instantly putting that into the whatever they're building. And this way you can teleport your support commanders into the enemy base and instantly build one of these galactic colossi right there on the spot, and the enemy will cry usually. But no, at this point the artillery, there are now 2 dukes for there are now 2 dukes for Vanga, which are both blasting the base of Flawless. He's lost his epic missile launcher, nuke launcher, as well as a whole bunch of support commanders as well. Yeah, see those big wreckages? Those are support commanders. So now he might be in some serious trouble, especially if they destroy this as well. He's trying to build a couple of his own heavy artillery installations, but not doing so very seriously, you know. He's barely put any mass into it for now, and I'm pretty sure it's about to get destroyed as well. Okay, well, they have built another donut, and that is now being sent towards the enemy base, but you cannot breach this with one donut. It's not possible. Another artillery installation has, however... Whoa! That's not just an artillery installation, that's the artillery installation. This here is the most powerful cannon in the game, the Maver. At least the most powerful stationary cannon. I think it does, what does it do? It does like 8,000 damage per second, right? Because it shoots every 2 seconds, and it's like 16,000 damage per shot. The Vanga is attempting to construct something similar here. If I were Mustera, I would immediately target this location over here, because, you know, you need to get rid of these, and then the enemy will essentially completely crumble. But, well, I'm pretty sure this is the case. And it looks like he's doing exactly that now. Yes, the Maver is targeting this location now. Meanwhile, the Dukes of Vanga are still targeting Flawless's base, which is mostly useless at this point. It's just a couple factories left. Yeah, I feel like at this point Vanga should definitely switch and target the Maver, because this is not enough to protect a Maver from 2 artillery pieces. You need more of these. You need them like yesterday. Even this is very poorly protected. The Nuke Eliminator is only protected by 1 shield, and it's kind of sticking out. I'm pretty sure if an enemy shell lands like over here, it could actually destroy the Nuke Eliminator anyway. So you need way more shields than you need them yesterday, my dude. Of course, you know, with the Maver pounding those positions, some serious destruction could occur anyway. But yeah, the Maver is not well protected, not by a long shot, not from 2 massive artillery installations anyway. Sorry. Do they have anything else that could help though? Tactical missile launcher being purchased, or not purchased, but being built on Johnny's commander. Ooh, we could see some Billy nukes here very soon. Let's pray I don't miss them, because I definitely could. Another massive explosion? Was this a Billy nuke? This was a Billy nuke. Okay, so yeah, the commander of Mustera has now equipped itself with the Billy nuke launcher, which is, yeah, like I said, it's a tactical nuke. It explodes like a nuke, does like 16,000 damage or something like that. Oh! Something just exploded here. But for some reason, did everybody just Ctrl+K out of the game? What? Oh, never mind. Okay, so Kelch tried to teleport here and destroy the Maver and these Dukes, but could not. He didn't teleport close enough, I feel like. So yes, lots of things happening. We got a Telemazer, which is when the Cybran commander gets the most powerful weapon in the game. This direct fire weapon, the heavy microwave laser, and teleports on top of, directly on top of the enemy and destroys them. But he teleported too far away. He could only hit shields there, and yeah, all these turrets just instantly killed him basically. And the Maver also has been wiped out because, like I said, it was extremely poorly protected. You needed like 8 more shields in there for it to actually stand a chance, and he wasn't building them for some reason. I don't know. And now he also removed his Billy nuke, and now is building a teleporter instead. Alright, does this guy have a Billy nuke? No, he's just building the normal tag TML forever for some reason. Alright, this guy has... Oh, this guy has nothing. Okay, he's transferred, yeah, he's transferred everything he has to Vanga. So now, yeah, his base has been completely wiped out. So he's now just standing underwater and just chilling. It's basically just Vanga versus 2 enemies playing at this point. Give me the water. Ugh. Yeah. Anyway, yes, the 2 dukes, yeah, so all this time the Maver is still under construction. He isn't even close to finishing it, even though he's got tons of resources. He should be putting way more into it because he's just sitting on all this mass, not spending it. Should definitely be putting more efforts into constructing the Maver, because at this point I'm pretty sure that would end the game for good. Like, they had a Maver, they lost it. They had a Scathis, they lost it. What do they even have now? Just like a bunch of monkey lords and donuts will not stop this nonsense. It's not enough. Unless like all of the donuts fly together at the same time, you know, through the weakest spot on the map or in his defenses, which I'm pretty sure this defense has no weak spots at this point. Maybe this right here, but still. That's a lot of SAM launchers. Yeah, I'm guessing they're now just preparing for a desperate final attack. The Team 2 is. Oh, there's the Billy Nuke, right? Oh no, it's a normal TML, never mind. Yeah, he hasn't got the resources for the Billy Nuke, so understandably he's only going for for normal TML. Honestly, at this point you might want to consider at this point you might want to consider just building a resource allocation system on your commander, and then with that you can probably get yourself a Billy Nuke and a Tech 3 engineering suite, and then walk around just Billy Nuke everything. But yeah, he's... Oh, okay, so the commander of Mustera teleports behind enemy lines. I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish though. He's only got, yeah, the UEF commander is not the best for this job because he can't get the super mega weapon like a heavy microwave laser. Yeah, honestly, for him it's just better to start building turrets everywhere, and for these turrets to destroy everything around him. That would that would be a lot more DPS than just shooting like this. Although on the upside, I'm pretty sure Vanga didn't notice that he came here, but still, this isn't accomplishing anything. Yeah, sure, destroy like 2 of these like 50 turrets, and then what? He didn't manage to dodge a bullet there. A tactical missile was thrown at him, but he dodged out of the way of that. I'm not sure if he saw it coming or not, but did dodge it. Alright, lots and lots of donuts still being built up by Flawless. Let me see if I can speed it up slightly, because at this point there's very little actually left on the map. Okay, well, yeah, a Monkey Lord walks in and wipes Mustera off the map. Well, and now is just you, Mr. Flawless. 2 extra Monkey Lords. More donuts being attempted, of course. Yeah, the support commanders are underwater. In case you're wondering why they aren't being targeted by the artillery, is because they're underwater. You can't target underwater objects with this kind of artillery. You can target directly on top of them, which, if the water is shallow enough, if a shell falls directly on top of them, it will destroy them. Or damage them anyhow, but no such thing happening so far. So yeah, at this point it's just Flawless Vanga versus Flawless. And I'm not entirely sure what Flawless is supposed to do. A squad of Percivals comes in. You know, remember how Mustera used to do that like 3 times in this game. Now Vanga is doing the exact same thing, except this time there is nothing opposing them, so they're just gonna have a walk in the park, essentially. 6 donuts have been constructed by Flawless. Okay, at this time it's really just now or never. You're being blasted by a Maver and 2 dukes at the same time. There is nothing you can build that could stand up to this horrific bombardment. And he's also power stalling, I'm pretty sure. No, he's not. Just the shields are going down instantly when he builds them because of the Maver. And there come the donuts, although for whatever reason he's not pushing. What are you doing? He just wants to push for some reason with 2 donuts instead of all 6 of them, which means of course both of them get shot down and destroyed instantly. My dude, you need to send all your donuts, not just two. Two won't accomplish anything. And yeah, of course all of the bases are going to get destroyed by the Maver and the Dukes. 3 Monkey Lords somehow sneak through and walk into the former base of Johnny. No, it's not Johnny, this is Ursus, right, yeah. Okay, well these will wipe out everything here, but like, once again, what's the point? Like, what are you accomplishing this way? You know, yeah, sure, he has a few less mass extractors. Like, that's not a problem right now. The problem is all of this horror that is blasting you from across the map, and this is not the right direction. Galactic Colossus goes down. The donuts get distracted by all kinds of random stuff. Like, they're trying to destroy random, like, I don't know what this was. They're trying to destroy like random SAM launchers and whatnot. The final donut might make it, almost make it towards the Maver, not quite. Falls on top of a bunch of turrets, explodes, and I'm pretty sure this is it for all flawless here. Ended up being not nearly as flawless as I'm sure he'd have hoped. Of course, you know, the Percials are of course stopped by the donut. That's, you know, that was pretty obvious that was going to happen. But still, those Percials aren't the problem. The problem is that you just wasted a whole bunch of donuts on nothing, just fighting random stuff at the front line. Like, at least if he took down one of these, you know, he wouldn't have killed the commander, of course, but if he did manage to take down all of these, would have bought him at least a bit of breathing room in order to construct something else that could have ended the game, but like, this is not quite going to happen. Oh, the donut hovering over the Percivals, trying to destroy them with torpedoes. The donut does in fact have torpedoes, which are also really interesting because they aren't actually called torpedoes, they're called depth charges. Which those things, the difference is they cannot be blocked. So like, the moment they hit the water, they are, you know, they are just sent towards the enemy, and you can't block them with anything, because normal torpedoes can be fooled by flares, which they will, you know, they will ram into the flares instead of the actual ships, but depth charges cannot do that. But right now this is besides the point. He's sending 3 more donuts, however they aren't together. The donuts are all, the one donut is lagging behind. He is sending them, you know, in the correct direction this time, but it's hard to say if they'll actually get anywhere once again. Nope. Well, okay, he fell on top of the Novak stations, but it didn't manage to wipe them out because it was too little damage. The shields were blocking. Alright, and this time the shields popped, but the donut didn't quite fall near enough. And so, once again, 3 donuts wasted. Still got 3 Monkey Lords who could, in theory, walk underwater and just wipe all of this out. I'm pretty sure. Also, Scathus is being built underwater very slowly by just 1 support commander, but still, it is getting there. Alright, so, are we giving up or are we continuing? Because, god damn, this is getting a little bit ridiculous at this point. For some reason, I didn't realize this replay would last so long. I think it might have been because its duration was stated to be a lot shorter in the replay search, in the search bar. Alright, well, there's an air fight. That is something that Vanga can actually accomplish, is destroying the opposing air. That's a lot of donuts queued up though, but why is he queuing up so many ships? I'm not sure. Those ships will get, once again, instigated by the Mavers. The Mavers have destroyed, the Maver won. The Maver and the artillery, the Dukes, have destroyed everything else. There is no more bases for Flawless. It's just this group of support commanders here. Yeah, this point is probably just the easiest way to end the game. Okay, the Monkey Lords are also destroyed. They didn't even move from their spots. I'm pretty sure the Monkey Lords actually got destroyed by the Maver somehow, which I didn't think it was possible at all. But yeah, so now we just get 1 commander sitting underwater, and now finally he's ending the game by making some torpedo bombers. I mean, not he, Vanga is finally ending the game by making some torpedo bombers. The Maver shells are hitting the surface, as you can see right now, but the water is deep enough where it doesn't actually affect the guy. Well, this time he's walking out, but if he does walk out, he's gonna walk into a million of these, yeah, million Percivals and gunships, and just look at this destruction. Oh my god. Okay, down goes the commander. Finally, this replay is over. Gigas. That is, I got a lot more than I bargained for in this one. Ooh, boy. Yeah. Sorry about that. Damn, this replay was freaking long. Incredibly long. Damn. Alright, well. We've got 2 more pretty good replays. Or well, I think they should be good. Anyhow. Yeah, what's the duration on this one? 142. This one is 220. Huh. Interesting. Okay, what's the... How long have we been going so far? Alright, I think we can squeeze another replay in there before I have to take a break and then come back with another stream later. So yeah, I'll go on a little bit of a break here. Here, this is my BRB screen. So yeah, thank you for watching so far. Don't go anywhere though, because very shortly I will be back. Just need a bit of a break. But yeah, if you're new here and you're enjoying what I'm doing and you want to see more Supreme Commander and, you know, other stuff, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you still haven't, and if you're watching this after the fact, leave a comment down below detailing what else you'd like to see. Alright, I'll be with you very shortly. Just listen to the funky music for now. Alright, we're back. Should be visible and audible. Hopefully, anyway. Oh, alright. Let us continue. See which one of these. Yeah, I thought, I thought I could have. How do I say it? I thought I could have fit 2 more games into the stream, but because I took such a long time, and because these turned out to be extremely long, it's going to be. I can only fit only 1 more of these because they, yeah, like I said, they're also really long. So, yeah, chat. If anybody is here, if anybody can reply, I'd like to ask you. Okay, first of all, I need to reduce the music volume, unless I've already done that. Yeah, first of all, tell me how the music volume is now. Or if you'd like a little bit louder. Like this. And also, which map would you like to to see? One with lots of water, or one with no water at all? Because this one right here, it says map generator. Of course you can see the map, but just trust me, it has no water in it. Well, at least no significant water anyhow. So yeah, would you like to see lots of navy or no navy at all? Tell me if you're here, and then we'll go and yeah, watch that one. And also this one is 6v6. Oh, sorry. This one is 6 versus 6, and the other one is 4 versus 4. So that's another important aspect, probably. So yeah, what do you see? I am more inclined towards this one, because this one also looks pretty cool, you know, with all these islands. It does look super cool indeed. Average rank is 2019 apparently. Well, that almost sounds like a year. Almost like the current year. Almost. Just a few years off. This one is, yeah, this one is just lots of laugh. Laugh? What? No, land. Lots of land. They also have special badges for, yeah, for whatever they do. Some pretty cool stuff. Oh. Ah. Yeah, like I said, I'm more inclined towards this one because it looks pretty cool. It looks really beautiful, I'd say even. But if people would like to see no navy at all, that is fine by me as well. I guess it also kind of makes sense to show more navy because the last game didn't really have all that much. Just had a couple destroyers and that's it. And only because they could crawl on land. Yeah, let's go with this one. Since nobody's writing anything, I feel like it is fine to do that. Map is loading. Prepare for repairs. Oh, what a beautiful loading screen. Wonderful stuff. Well, that's not a good start. Alright, so we've got ourselves a 20 by 20 map called Lena River. I'm assuming Lena is named after a real life river in Russia. Because, well, I don't know. That is this one I know. Maybe similar rivers with similar names exist in other countries. Somebody could let me know. But yeah. So we are going to be witnessing a 4 versus 4 matchmaking game, which is yeah, when people just queue up for a game and then the matchmaker finds it for them, as opposed to the normal practice of finding lobbies. But yes, it is a relatively large map, 20 by 20, and people play. This is the largest map people normally play on. They don't play on anything larger, which those do exist, but nobody plays on them. And yes, with that out of the way, let's start introducing our players, starting from Team 1 in the yellow corner, starting from the west, I suppose. It's going to be the Wheelie at 2500 rank points. So yeah, we've got some serious players up in this piece. Some powerful and devastating players. Okay, I really need to reduce the music volume because it's too loud in my ears. So nobody is telling me anything. This means that... oh yeah, this is better. Yes, so playing in life-given yellow, as I like to call this color, playing Seraphim and going first land, followed very closely by air as well. Further towards the east, it is going to be Storm Lantern. What an epic name. At 1800 rank points, playing Cybran in fresh and fragrant orange, going first land and also second land, already finished, because yeah, this time we'll be watching it at a bit of a faster speed. Even further towards the east, and once again going back to the shores, this is Trith at 1800 rank points. Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure this rounds up to a 19 even. And going first land, second land, and third air, playing Cybran in coordinate red. And last but not least for this team is going to be Grunty NOOB at 1700 rank points, playing Aeon in Road Rage red, going first land, second land, and third air. Moving on to team 2. In the purple corner, first and foremost, we got somebody already loading engineers into a transport and sending them towards one of the outlying islands, or, well, islands in the river, whatever islands. This is going to be Tron Dash at 2200 rank points, actually even more like 23 even. Playing Seraphim in color confusion cyan, as I'd like to call this color, and going first land. I'm pretty sure it was first land and second air. And next to him is going to be, who's this? Ctrl+K. Also, I'm pretty sure this player is also known as Azot, which is like the Russian term for nitrogen. Playing Cybran at 1900 rank points in shrinking a violet. Going first land, second land, and third air. At least I'm pretty sure that's what he did, because he is... would make sense to build 2 land factories and then an air factory, as opposed to, let's say, 1 land, 1 air, and another land, because as you can see, those factories are mainly just used for now to reclaim the trees and nothing else, pretty much. Further towards the western side, we've got ourselves... Oh, there was already a clash in the air. An interceptor out from the Wheelie destroyed a transport out from... Who's this? Tersto, who we haven't reached yet. Yes, so the next player we're going to be introducing is Resi NOOB, also formerly known as Resistance, at 2200 rank points, playing Aeon in Thalassophobia Blue, going seemingly first land and second air, or maybe the other way around, considering he's already landed on the islands as well. Dropped a couple of engineers here. And last but not least for this match and for this particular team is going to be Tersto, who we've already mentioned at 1800 rank points, playing UEF, and also going for a whole bunch of various factories at various places. Even has built a land factory here. Yeah, it was like also most likely first land, second land, third air. So yes, we can already see players building air transports, airdropping engineers on these islands. As you can see, the engineers are already clashing with each other. You see right here a Seraphim engineer attempting to disassemble, successfully attempting to disassemble an enemy engineer, and then disassembling the factory as well. What a crafty little engineer. This island has been occupied by Trith, another island occupied by Tron, another island occupied by Ctrl+K. Overall, it seems like the distribution of islands is mostly as expected. Well, that is besides, of course, Ctrl+K attempting to take over another island that you would assume belonged to the wheelie, but isn't quite the case now. Yeah, this engineer this time is going to be destroyed before he manages to destroy the second engineer sent in by the wheelie. And same here. Yep, okay, so the wheelie successfully reclaims this island that Ctrl+K was attempting to take over, but couldn't quite do that. First naval factories going up as well for both the wheelie and Trith. You can see they're already sending their frigates towards the enemy side of the map. However, this won't accomplish too much, as naval factories have already been also constructed by Resi in the area as well. However, they could probably do some serious damage here as long as they don't stop. Okay, yeah, as long as they do stop, I mean. Technically, you can lock down this factory and prevent it from ever building anything. If you just target the surface of the water where the ship is being built, you will essentially destroy the ship, while the other frigate could be targeting the factory. But it looks like they will just straight up destroy the factory outright. Not a very good look for Resi, this is. They will catch even more engineers here on the retreat. Very effective frigates so far. Already destroying factories, already causing some troubles for Resi, right? Yes, I keep forgetting the name, sorry. So yes, 3 naval factories have been constructed by Resi in order to resist the invasion, but currently he isn't producing too many frigates. Does seem to produce enough to stop the enemy though, because yeah, they were, you know, trickling in one by one from Trith, while Resi was there with all of them at once. But yes, for now it looks like Resi's factories are mostly safe. However, reinforcements are arriving from the wheelie as well, so if the wheelie and Trith together put their forces, join their forces I mean, and attack it at once, they could very easily wipe out the entirety of the naval production from Resi. Meanwhile, on the eastern side, of course, say the same thing, 3 factories going up for Tron, one of them being assisted by the commander, no less, and even though Trith is also attempting to put a stop to that by sending in some of his frigates, it's not quite working. Oh, but I totally missed that here, oh my goodness me, would you look at that. There's 7 factories have been built up by a few cheeky engineers that were airdropped by Tron. Yeah, so there you see, this is the enemy territory. This is the enemy team's territory, and you've got a couple engineers who were dropped in here and built 7 factories here, which are all pumping out tanks and artillery now. Wow. This could cause some serious trouble for Grunty Noob, who is already personally in the area with his commander, taking a lot of damage from the opposing turret as well. Of course, those Aurora tanks, so, you know, they could very easily put they are a very good matchup for the enemy tanks, as they are, as long as you know where they're going, the Aurora tanks outrange the opposing tanks, which means they could wipe them out with relative ease. And yeah, it looks like he's constructed, yeah, he's built even more factories, or well, the exact same amount, actually 7, but it looks like more because there are so many tanks pouring out. And yes, at this point, all of this base, all of this cheeky base for Tron has been wiped out, and now it is no more. And now, yep, it's over. What have we got in the meantime? We've got some T3 air already. Yes, Tech 3 air has already been achieved. Since these players are so high level, they can easily, very easily put out Tech 3 air as early as 11 minutes into the game. Or it was more like 10:30 probably in this case. Yeah, so this time this air is out from Ctrl+K. Is anybody else building air, I wonder? It looks like, yeah, T3 air is also being built up, rushed quite quickly by Tersto, and also I'm assuming on the opposing side it should be the same thing, namely for Storm Lantern as well as Grunty Noob. Yes, no, not quite. Grunty Noob, yeah, Grunty Noob got so caught up, you know, defending against this nonsense over here that he actually does not seem to be going for T3 air at all. I wonder if the wheelie is, you would expect something like this from the wheelie as one of the best players in the game, you know. If he sees something like that, you'd expect him to act accordingly, but so far not quite the case. We'll see how far he can go though. Oh, a massive squadron of frigates has been sent out by the Wheelie. They are wiping out the naval production, not of Resi NOOB though, but instead of Tersto. Yes, Tersto attempted to dip his toes into the water, got immediately punished for it, and now, yeah, this won't work too well. And now, with the forces of both the Wheelie and Trith joining together, they could present a serious threat to Resi NOOB. We'll see if they actually accomplish anything, but for now, the Resi should definitely hold back his own frigates and try to build as many of them up as possible. Torpedo launchers being built up by the engineers as well to help with the issue. The problem with torpedo launchers is that they aren't nearly as cost effective as, for example, the T1 land turrets, because like it takes only about like, I don't know, what is it, 4 or 5 frigates I think to destroy a torpedo launcher. So compare that to the land-based turrets who can destroy like dozens of tanks before being finally taken down. And it looks like actually both the Wheelie and Trith decide to retreat here instead of trying their luck and staying behind. It's a wise choice because, as you know, if those frigates of theirs do get sunk, they will leave behind all of the reclaim for the enemy to collect, so they will essentially just be giving some resources to the enemy. An airdrop, a serious airdrop being attempted here by Grunty, however it looks like, yes, it will be stopped by the timely intervention of Ctrl+K's fighters. Yep, so the transport falls down and all of the artillery pieces that were being transported go with it. Unfortunate for Grunty, but very fortunate for Ctrl+K, who is already experiencing something similar. You can see right here, some Medusa artillery pieces out from... Who's this? Oh, this is Trith actually, yeah, this is a different player who did the same thing and is already destroying mass extractors, extremely valuable, much more valuable than the artillery pieces themselves. Yep, oh, they could even destroy, well, could have, but not anymore. Of course, you know, Ctrl+K being a great player, or a good player certainly, immediately pumps out the counter, which is in this case is the Hunter Assault Bots. These light assault bots are a great counter to artillery because they move fast, which means the artillery pieces will have a very difficult time landing their shots. And also they can be pumped out in large quantities extremely quickly, which is a great idea when your opponent's incoming armies are limited, which they are in this case. First Tech 2 naval vessels coming out, this time out from Resi. He is destroying the opposing frigates with a Vesper, which is a Tech 2 submarine hunter. Those things are quite nasty, especially considering when you have no counter. You see? These submarines, they are underwater, so they cannot be targeted by the primary weapons of the frigates. And to add to that, the submarines use torpedoes, which the frigates cannot block. Some of them, I'm pretty sure, the torpedoes of, or the Aeon, the frigates of the Aeon faction, yeah, you can see at the bottom left corner, torpedo defense. So the Aeon can destroy incoming torpedoes, at least some of them, the Aeon frigates. The Seraphim frigates have no such thing, so they will have some serious trouble dealing with those Vespers, as essentially they're completely helpless against those. Of course, you know, there are plenty other counters of submarines. For example, you can produce Tech 2 torpedo bombers, which are produced here at the air factory, or you can produce some destroyers of your own. At this point, the Wheelie himself is sitting on a T2 naval factory, and there you go. The first destroyer comes out. Seraphim destroyers are unique in that they can also dive underwater just like submarines, but my main primary purpose is as a destroyer. Their primary purpose in this game is of course to use those insanely powerful surface cannons against the opposing ships, but if need be they can dive underwater and cause more problems for the enemy this way. It looks like the Vespers, oh yeah, the Vespers have also very wisely retreated and are now instead harassing the naval fleet of Trith, who does not seem to be paying nearly as much attention, which is kind of to be expected considering the rank difference, but you know, Trith is also a very good player, so you'd expect him to pay attention to this stuff nonetheless. Because this is free veterancy for the Vespers, which would also make them much harder to destroy. If they could actually, you know, accumulate some veterancy points, they would definitely make them a lot more troublesome. Meanwhile, upgrades going up on commanders or not. Okay, yeah, the Wheelie definitely has one. A T3 engineering suite, there you go. No upgrades for any other commanders on Team 1, it seems like. Well, Grunty was kind of forced to get the upgrades on his main weapon, which are shot speed or rate of fire as well as range, in order to deal with this nonsense that he had to put a stop to on the southern edge of his island. Gotta take some water. But yes, now he doesn't need them anymore, but of course he doesn't want to remove them because, you know, at this point it's like just in case. Why would you remove them when you already have it, and removing it won't do anything. Yep, torpedo bombers, like I expected, being brought to bear against the Vespers. This time the Vespers are in trouble. Also, another interesting tidbit of information here. Normally frigates can also have some anti-air cannons, which they would attempt to shoot down these torpedo bombers. The problem is, though, the Aeon frigates do not have such a thing. The Aeon only have surface cannons and torpedo defense, but no torpedoes of their own, and also no anti-air cannons, so they are relatively helpless. But of course, immediately the fighter screen out from Turtle flies in and completely wipes out those torpedo bombers. I don't think they managed to sink a single Vesper. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Just the torpedo bombers themselves sinking, but that's about it. Yeah, so far I feel like we can speed up the game even further because not much is happening. Alright, well, there you go. Finally some naval fighting, and yes, you can see the Seraphim destroyer bringing to bear its infamous laser. Yes, the Seraphim destroyer, while most other destroyers, or all of the other destroyers in the game, use projectile weapons, the Seraphim destroyer, called the Washavo, in case you're wondering, uses a laser beam, which means it can't miss. Unless, of course, it it targets the wrong thing directly, but sometimes it just randomly targets the ground or the surface instead of the actual enemy ships, but otherwise it cannot miss, as you can see right here. So these destroyers, while normally destroyers can get overwhelmed by frigates because you can just put out so many frigates that they'll just run over the destroyers, but in this case Tron also has the adequate amount of destroyers or frigates to match, so you can't just get close to them and overwhelm them, because there's actually more frigates. I'm pretty sure it looks like there are more frigates for Tron than there are for Trith. And yeah, this is my favorite angle to watch the stuff from, by the way, and the naval battle is very nice. You can of course spin the camera and see it kind of from the sideline. This way you don't really see much of the bottom of the ocean where there is nothing, or in this case the river, I guess. But you can see all of the beautiful commotion that ensues as two navies clash together. Actually, at this point, it somehow feels like there are more frigates for Trith than there are for Tron, which is really weird, because for the moment it looked as the opposite. Maybe it looks like that for me because I'm watching from the side of Tron. But yeah, it looks like his navy is definitely being forced to retreat here. Another thing, of course, the destroyers outrange frigates as well, but they are the speed is relatively equal, so it doesn't always help. Scouts flying around, a large, of course, at this point, extremely large clusters of air units. You can see right here the Gemini fighters out from Storm Lantern, as well as the Wasp fighters out from Thursto. Interestingly, though, I don't see too many from Ctrl+K. Oh, never mind, there they are. Yeah. A whole bunch of torpedo bombers fly in out from Ctrl+K as well, trying to sink the opposing ships. Yeah, typically, of course, these ships are on the surface, so in theory you could use normal bombers against them. But I'm pretty sure the reason most people use torpedo bombers against ships, even if they're on the surface, is because those torpedoes do end up doing more damage. There are 3 fighters that have been sent by Storm Lantern to chase the torpedo bombers down, and surprisingly they might actually accomplish this feat because they aren't being pursued by the opposing fighters. Oh, yep, okay, so those 3 Cybran fighters definitely accomplished more than they had any right to, because Ctrl+K kind of mismicroed there. Lost a couple torpedo bombers he definitely didn't need to lose, but he's okay now. A massive naval clash. At this point, Tech 2 Navy on both sides, of course, both Yeah, you can see the cruisers out from the wheelie sending those tactical missiles at the opposing navy. The thing about the cruisers here, or the matchup between Seraphim and Aeon navies, is that Aeon cruisers do not have those fancy missiles. They don't send those missiles in. Instead, they can of course block missiles just like every other cruiser, but they can't launch those of their own. Also, battleships coming in. Yep, we've got our first Tech 3 naval vessels as well. Those majestic looking battleships with super awesome looking shots out from both the wheelie as well as Resi. Where is this one? Can't see it. Somewhere over here. Yep, there it is. The Omen class battleship of the glorious Aeon Navy is in the area and ready to deliver the damage. And the Seraphim Hawthorne class is doing pretty much the same thing here. Yeah, so the advantage the Aeon have, though, over the Seraphim, when it comes to Navy, another advantage, is that they've got those things right here. The Aeon mobile shield generators, which are normally reserved for land combat, they actually, for the Aeon, they hover over the water, which means or hover over the surface, I guess, which means they can follow the ships everywhere, basically, and this way the Seraphim Navy the Aeon Navy becomes a lot tankier than you expect, because those things are relatively cheap and they are just covering the ships, and the shields are constantly regenerating as well, so it can be quite hard to punch through them. Of course, eventually you can build up so many battleships that no amount of shields can stop the damage. But so far it seems like they're mostly matched in terms of battleships. You can see 1, 2, 3 for wheelie. And 1, 2, must be a third one somewhere for Resi, right? Because if there isn't, then he's in a world of trouble right now. Truly. Oh, an air clash breaks out between Ctrl+K and Storm Lantern. It looks like the result is relatively inconclusive, although Ctrl+K does manage to accomplish the feat of shooting down all of the incoming torpedo bombers, which is something that definitely helps out. It looks like a couple of destroyers have been sunk, though, for what's his face? For Tron himself. Which is highly unfortunate, of course, because in that way, if there are more opposing destroyers and battleships than your own, then your navy will slowly but surely be losing ground. Or losing surface in this case, I don't know. What do they say when you have to retreat on the water? Ooh, a squadron of torpedo bombers flies in from Tersto as well. Tries to take out a battleship. However, there are so many of these tiny mobile flak cannons, they completely stop any torpedo bomber incursions that could be there. It's not even funny. They just get completely annihilated on the spot. Yeah, so once again, Seraphim and Aeon having a lot of hover units. Another option for the Navy that can support the Navy very well are those hovering mobile flak cannons. Yeah, so of course, every faction has mobile flak cannons. Those are the Tech 2 anti-air units that you get on land. However, for the Seraphim and the Aeon both, those things that can also float over the surface, just like the Aeon mobile shield generators. For that matter, the Seraphim mobile shield generators can also hover, just like the Aeon was. The problem why they aren't used so often is because they're actually Tech 3 and not Tech 2, like those of the Aeon. So it's a little bit harder to reach them and not always worth it, because I think they're also less cost effective than the Aeon was. And now there is also something really cool, something else really cool that the wheelie is making. Those are the Seraphim Tech 3 submarine killers. So yeah, while both the Cybran and the Aeon have Tech 2 submarines, the Seraphim instead have Tech 3 submarines, which means they're better in most categories, especially the most important one is that they have longer range. The range on their torpedoes is even longer than the torpedoes of the destroyers, which allows them to basically kite the destroyers infinitely, so sink those destroyers without them being able to fire back. However, this time a very well placed, very well timed squadron of torpedo bombers out from Tersto takes care of those Seraphim subs, and they just sink to the bottom even lower than they used to be before. However, the overall situation is looking quite dire for Resi, as if I do say so myself. Look at this, there's 4 battleships against, well, actually 4 of Resi's own. But he, you know, the wheelie could always send in more. It looks like the front line is just extremely stretched out. Because, yeah, it looks like, yeah, the front line goes from here all the way back through here. So, quite a massive naval clash, as if I do say so myself. I think I just said that before I gotta stop repeating myself like that. Hey, hello Scooby, welcome! Hey, Scooby is a wonderful being that we're always happy to see. In case somebody isn't aware, you're on the community management team for the upcoming strategy game, new RTS game called Sanctuary Shattered Sun. I think I got the name right there, which I am personally extremely looking forward to. I would be absolutely ecstatic to get to play that finally sometime. But yeah, it is an absolute thing of beauty, and Scooby is now on the team. So yeah, greetings Scooby, it is great to have you here. As we are watching this replay on the Lena River, which is allegedly going to last 2 hours. I'm not sure my voice can last that long, but which is funny considering I was also planning another stream later in the day, as you know, so for celebratory purposes. We've got our massive air clash over the fighting navies. You can see both the fighters out from Ctrl+K as well as Storm Lantern both falling to the ground. Yeah, the ground is completely littered with the charred remains of these fighters. You can see all of these are fighter wreckages. It looks like, well, the engagement is inconclusive as both sides realize they're fighting over a whole bunch of anti-air and just start retreating. Tech 2 torpedo launchers being constructed directly in the middle of everything. I'm not sure how those are allowed to exist at all. But yeah, we've got the massive experimental battleship of the Aeon called the Tempest, in addition to the normal battleships. So yeah, this is something that the Seraphim do not have. However, their own battleships are typically enough for everything. Of course, the Tempest does have an advantage of being able to dive underwater, which means it can avoid the primary weapons of the opposing battleships, but still, it's a bit of like a band-aid solution, because, you know, it can still be targeted by torpedoes, most notably torpedo bombers, and, you know, it cannot shoot back with its own torpedoes against the opposing flak cannons, because, once again, those flak cannons, they hover over the water, so the effectiveness of a submerged Tempest is extremely limited, to say the least. There is yet another Tempest, however, they are being savagely focused down by the opposing battleships. You can see, this Tempest will actually sink. It can't submerge anymore because it will sink anyway. Yep, see? Too much damage too quickly, and it doesn't even manage to submerge before it gets dealt a fatal blow. Yeah, at this point it looks like Resi's navy is getting completely sandwiched on two flanks between the ships of the wheelie. And this time, what is this now? Oh, a strategic bombers coming in from Storm Lantern as well. What are these going to target? I feel like, yeah, they're probably targeting the T3 naval factory. Also, a nuke went off somewhere. No, wait, they're targeting the Tempest for some reason, which they can't actually destroy. Okay, that was a waste. But yeah, a nuke went off, and yeah, when I watched the replay the first time, I remember what it did. It wiped out the main naval factory of the wheelie, so he's only now working with support factories, which means they can't actually build T3 naval units anymore. So for the moment, the wheelie's push actually might have been staggered here, as he is now unable to produce any more battleships while his enemies will be. Because for whatever reason, the strategic bombers out from Storm Lantern targeted a random Tempest instead of the main factory. That was really weird. Another nuke has been launched though. We'll see if that one actually lands or not. So far it's headed towards the base, seemingly towards the base of Trith. Or maybe it's just going to hit the naval factories as well. That would be quite a devastating blow and quite a nasty one indeed. It looks like it's landing somewhere in the middle. What? Well, that wasn't a very great nuke. It hit like one support commander, a couple mass extractors. Didn't even hit the quantum gateway. I feel like that could have been placed better, at least to wipe out the T3 naval production of Trith. But yeah, at this point, the same thing that was happening between Resi and the wheelie is also happening between Tron and Trith right here. They are still going at it. There's lots and lots of flak cannons out from Grunty as well, mobile flak cannons providing coverage from the opposing torpedo bombers. Again, battleships on battleships action. This time though, the Seraphim are on the side of Team 2 versus the Cybran Navy of Trith and Team 1. It looks like, yeah, Grunty is trying to provide whatever support he can, using his mobile flak cannons as well as mobile shields to help Trith. In my opinion, you should probably just transfer ownership of these mobile shields to Trith directly so he can micro them better. So far that does not seem to be happening though. Also, look how ridiculous the Cybran naval factory is. Look at this. This is one of my favorite parts of this game, is just looking. They're just standing there on like 3 weird legs. I'm not entirely sure how I don't remember, I mean how exactly the UEF naval factories are standing, but I don't think it's nearly as ridiculous. And of course the Aeon and Seraphim factories are just kind of, well, okay, they do have their own legs, but they don't look, they look slightly better developed, let's just say that. So yes, a whole bunch of frontline factories being constructed by the wheelie. These are just making engineers, and those engineers are just going in and trying to reclaim as much as possible while the fight is still happening, you know, like, basically the big thing about Navy in general in this game is that Navy costs a lot more mass per unit in comparison to land. So when there's so much Navy and it's constantly sinking, it is a very good idea to immediately construct some naval factories on the front line that will just simply be putting out engineers to reclaim all of this, because whoever gets all of this reclaim will have a massive advantage over the opponent, especially now that, you know, the wheelie is getting the wheelie got a serious blow against him while his naval factories got destroyed. Somebody said lol in chat. One of the new features is that, yeah, you can click on the map to, whoops, what was that? Alright, yeah, he was trying to build this Scathis for some reason, which is, you know, the endgame unit, but then he's like, nope, this is probably a bad idea, I will never complete it, let's go for a quantum gateway instead so I can, you know, increase my resource output well enough before I can finally do the Scathis. Sorry. Alright, some battleships are actually sinking now out from... This is 3 or 3, right? How could I forget? Some ships are sinking, some battleships are sinking from Trith, and now battleships are also being seemingly produced by... Oh, it's a destroyer, not a battleship, but yes, I'm sure some battleship will follow suit very soon. Yeah, so Tron is using the Seraphim hover tanks, the Yenzines, to get close to the battleships and sink them that way. Just like I said, overwhelming numbers once again. It's impressive that he managed to bypass all of the opposing frigates though, which frigates are specifically there for that purpose, to stop hover tanks and all that nonsense from getting close to your battleships, but for some reason they failed in this instance, and so the Yenzines were able to sink at least one battleship. Very soon another one might follow suit. Let's watch the third nuke of this game go through, see exactly where that's going. I'm hoping at this point there is nuke defense for the wheelie, because if there isn't... Oh, never mind. Okay, there definitely isn't. But once again, this nuke will not be very effective. All it will destroy is just one Tech 2 air factory and a couple mass extractors. Well, also a T3 power generator, but you know, that's... I'm sure the wheelie is getting most of his energy from his teammates anyway, so that's not really a big deal for him. Torpedo bombers are, for some reason, just flying completely unopposed over the naval clash. I don't know what's happening, but for some reason... Okay, it looks like most of the flak cannons out from the wheelie have been wiped out. Not sure what happened to them, but all of them got destroyed. And now it's just the frigates, and frigates, while they do have some nice anti-air cannons, for the early game, they aren't particularly well suited to dealing with swarms of torpedo bombers. That is definitely not their forte. It looks like though there are just so many frigates that it's enough anyway. The air units from Storm Lantern are flying in. Let's see, well, the Air Force, I guess I should say. Let's see if Ctrl+K is going to respond or not. He is actually busy on the other flank, helping out Tron. At this point, you can see a couple Seraphim battleships being sunk as well. So yes, it is. The fight seems to be mostly even still, I want to say, because sure, like, The Seraphim are losing some battleships, the Cybrans are, but mostly it looks like it's all the same. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this one is sunk, never mind, or sinking. So 6 battleships in the area for Tron. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Truth. Actually, at this point, Tron might be on the winning side as well. We should, you know, keep an eye out for this engagement, see exactly how it transpires in the end. Of course, lots of battleships also sunk for both the Wheelie and Resi. I'm sure Resi is still feeling a little bit more confident as, you know, the Wheelie has only recently rebuilt his own naval factory. Some discussions going up whether this map is actually good or not. Well, I don't know. I love it for its aesthetic, mostly as I've described before. Not only is it partial to me because of its name, or am I partial to it, but also because, yeah, it's just really nice, you know? You've got this nice green vegetation, you got a whole bunch of islands, which are definitely worth fighting over because they've got mass points on them. And also this beautiful blue water, you know. What else could a man really ask for? Oh my goodness me, would you look at that? Yeah. I think the Wheelie has mentioned before that he is going to spam the Seraphim hovering T1 artillery like crazy, and you can see it taking effect already, yeah. Look at all of those, just tiny, one of the weakest units in the game, the Seraphim T3 artillery piece. It is going to be causing a world of trouble for Resi here, because, yeah, don't have too many frigates to actually stop those artillery pieces. Now, frigates are actually good at stopping them. But all in all, because, you know, the frigates are fairly maneuverable, so the slow artillery shells of these Thuis, which is what these are called, the slow artillery shells don't actually land too well. The problem is, in this case, most likely going to be friendly fire, because both the normal battleships as well as the Tempests are liable to just randomly target those artillery pieces, and in doing so, they will. The large splash radius, the large damage radius, which those ships do have, could also in theory hit their own frigates and even their own battleships and cause lots and lots of problems. Here we've got a group of Vespers breaking off and trying some interesting maneuvers in the midst of the enemy's forces. It looks like they might sink a couple extra battleships, but it's hard to say if ultimately that will accomplish anything. There is a Tsar now out for Resi as well, so I guess Team 2 must be feeling like they do have air superiority somehow. We'll see about that though. Somehow, also, Tron is still losing ground despite having a massive battleship advantage at this point. It's just literally one Cybran battleship versus how many Seraphim is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, still 6 Seraphim battleships versus one Cybran battleship now. This is an extremely uneven matchup. I'm expecting Tron to finally turn the tide and start pushing back any second now. However, I am not so sure what exactly can be done about all of those artillery pieces that the Wheelie just completely flooding the map with. Not only are they serious trouble for the actual players playing the game on the opposite side, because it's awkward to deal with them using ships, as we just discussed, they're also a serious problem for the game's processing power, or for every computer's processing power. As you can see right here, I'm trying to speed the game up, but it's actually slowing down. It's slower than normal because of all of these artillery pieces. We could be stuck here for quite a while just trying to figure out exactly how the game is going to go, just because of all these artillery pieces. Well, we'll see though. We'll see how exactly that turns out. Okay, what is this now? Another nuke going out. I wonder if that one's going to land or not. Guess we'll see soon. There's the commander of Truth in the area as well. Would be funny if he gets hit by the nuke by accident and just is destroyed. So let's see where this one is headed. I'm assuming it should be hitting the Seraphim naval factories, but it's not. Where is it going? What? Alright, this is an extremely random place to target a nuke. I have no idea what that was all about. Once again, destroying like 4 mass extractors, and so what? Oh yeah, strategic bombers in the meantime being sent out by Storm Lantern. However, I am not sure what exactly they're doing. It looks like they're just targeting random stuff instead of anything in particular, so that doesn't accomplish anything either. Oh, you know what? Also, I just realized the music's ended, so I need to restart the... Yep, there you go, there's the music. I'm not sure you can hear it through all the carnage of battle. But yeah, it looks like the donut is doing something for now. It has been transferred to Ctrl+K from whoever built it, Resi, right, yeah. It's transferred from Resi to Ctrl+K. At this point you can clearly see Tron pushing back, just completely wiping everything out. Whatever stands in his way, these battleships will destroy with ease. There is a little bit of an incursion, somehow managing to break out through a flank. Some frigates out from Trith, but they should be stopped very shortly here by the amazing power of this donut. The air fighters out from Storm Lantern are still flying over the... Yep, are still flying over all this mass from artillery. All of artillery, I think, yeah, they just destroyed one donut that was meant to stop all of these artillery pieces and frigates. And now they just leave. Oh, hello. There's a telemaser, yep. Indeed there is. There is a Storm Lantern has in fact teleported into the enemy base. It's trying to destroy the air grid of Tersto. I don't think he's making it out of here alive though. He is getting some veterans, which is giving him more health. But there are a little bit few too many support commanders standing next to him, and so they kill him before well, okay, kill him please. Don't embarrass me here, just please kill him. He's out of veterancy points, okay? He should be dead now. Yep, there you go. The commander explodes. He did not manage to destroy the air factory headquarters, so the air production still continues. It was just reduced, but not completely destroyed. For Tersto. Oh shit, I really thought that would work. Oh well, I guess I have to leave this great game, says Storm Lantern. Yeah, the game is a bit of a mess now. Yeah, there you go. Storm Lantern should be leaving any second now. Wait, what? Okay, the game gets paused. Oh, okay, there you go. Okay, so yeah. He was in fact wiped out of the game. I wasn't imagining things. But yes, we're still sitting here stuck with all of this nonsense, all these huge amounts of artillery. And I'm not sure exactly where that's going to end up. Yeah, T2 Engineering Suite meanwhile going up for Grunty. He's finally realized. I am convinced we're going to lose because I'm on the edge of playing this abomination. What did you get today? What do you mean? Alright, T3 now going up for Grunty Noob as well. And Jesus, the game is laggy. Alright, there's no... Oh yeah. All of the air fighters have of course now been transferred to the wheelie. Just like with the rest of Storm Lantern's property. I'm guessing... I'm thinking he might have the right idea when he left the game just like that. Because, yeah, now that all of this horrific mess with all of these artillery pieces just constantly flooding in looks like... It looks like they're gonna be stuck here for a while. The game is currently at -3 speed, which I'm not actually sure how slow exactly that is. You know, what is the actual percentage of it being so slow. What I do know is that the minimum slow duration, the slowest the game can go is -10. And for now it's at +3. Look at this, like a third of the map is completely covered in yellow. And most of it is just those things running in and causing trouble. Yeah, well. I guess we can like stretch and stuff because yeah, not much is going to happen. Oh, the Air Force, ow! The Air Force of Tersto is in the enemy base for some reason. I guess it is protecting the donut, or trying to protect the donut. I'm not sure exactly what the donut is going to accomplish though. It did burn away, like, yeah, the factory headquarters, but, like, well, like what now? You can rebuild that really quickly, you know, and now your dome is going to get down and get destroyed. And most of your Air Force could get destroyed as well, so this could be quite problematic indeed. See if they... Yep, down goes a donut. So that's a mass donation. And now that your Air Force gets wiped out, I'm pretty sure that could mean they... What? Game ender, where? No, there isn't. What are you talking about? They're like building a whole bunch of hives, engineering stations, which this thing is basically an engineer, but it has much larger build power, or build rate, as it's properly called. It builds things much faster than one engineer. And it has a larger radius, but on the downside it can't move, which is why it's called an engineering station. But on another upside, it assists everything around it automatically. Like, you don't have to order it to do anything. Anything that's being built next to it, the engineering station will just automatically assist. So it's very convenient that way. Resi is still having major trouble holding back the assault of these weakest units, or some of the weakest units. I mean, the Thuis. Yeah. This is why the Seraphim Tech 1 mobile artillery is often called Tech 5 artillery, because it can do stuff like this. Just completely, you know, not only freeze the game, but also overwhelm any amount of enemies, as long as you're spamming enough, you know, spamming them in large enough amounts, I guess you should say. There are also some aircraft carriers now out for the Aeon player here, for Resi. Now what the aircraft carriers do is that they are very good at shooting down planes, and besides that, of course, their main purpose, which they always had, which is to store aircraft. Yeah, they're storing it somewhere, like inside those hatches somewhere. Trith Ctrl+K is out of the game. I guess he just decided to never play, or not play, all this mess. Understandable. Very much so. Alright, meanwhile, what else have we got? Yeah, so like I said, the aircraft carrier can store aircraft inside it, but it can also build aircraft inside it. As long as it doesn't actually move, it can store some aircraft inside it, and that way it won't be harmed. Although, of course, if the aircraft carrier is destroyed, then all of the planes inside it will be destroyed as well. Oh my goodness, the artillery. Yeah, see? Like T2 gunships should be a good solution, at least nominally. The problem is, of course, those artillery pieces will also be accompanied not just by fighters, but also by a whole bunch of mobile flak cannons as well. And those things are excellent. They excel at destroying T2 gunships specifically. Like, they are the best at against Tech 2 air units. And also, on top of that, the Wheelie has also got all his fighters in the area, which means he's got, yeah, one aircraft carrier will not be able to stop all this. You can see the aircraft carrier can only target one enemy plane at a time with its missiles. But then there are so many planes and they can just easily fly away from this, it doesn't really do anything. Alright, one Tempest is being targeted by a whole bunch of torpedo bombers out from the Wheelie as well. Of course, these are Cybran bombers, but at this point, you know, the Wheelie controls most of Team 1's assets. The only thing he doesn't control is just a small chunk of a base that is still left from Grunty Noob, which I suspect might be deleted soon as well. The Wheelie is in fact... oh, never mind. The Wheelie is not rebuilding the T3 naval headquarters that used to belong to Trith. He is doing no such thing. He is purely going to be relying on frigates as well as, I guess, more artillery to deal with the situation at hand. I will save you from your misery, says the Wheelie. How exactly though? Please tell me if you are torping my ACU. Oh no, I did. What? Oh! The commander of Resi was right down there among all of the ships, and a whole bunch of torpedo bombers. Yeah, these torpedo bombers somehow managed to find the commander and destroy it. Oh well. farm still -4 potato PC. Resi says, let me continue watching this beautiful game. Okay. Oh my god, and it's desynced. Why did I not... What? Wait. That's confusing. I thought I watched it and there was no desync. What is happening? Alright, so yeah, for those of you who don't know, desync means that the game, basically, what we will be seeing on screen no longer matches up with what the players are actually doing. So, for example, you know, I can see just an enemy commander randomly explode out of nowhere, and I will think that was a Ctrl+K, but in fact it was destroyed by something else. So, yeah. That's a little bit unfortunate. Okay, so we've got... sorry. We've got ourselves, yeah, we've got Grunty Noob rebuilding, or building a missile base here. I wonder... some sort of torture, yeah. Ctrl+K calls this some sort of torture. Truth tells him, you started it with a nuke, yeah. So, yeah, for those of you, again, I watched this part of this replay before. I don't know why I didn't see the desync before. This is a little bit confusing. But yeah, the thing is, Truth, when who's this again? Yeah, when Ctrl+K nuked the naval production of the wheelie, that's when the wheelie was like, okay, you know what, screw you guys, you nuked my navy, you ruined my game, I'm gonna ruin your game by putting out so many artillery pieces that the game was just going to freeze. And that's exactly what he's doing here. Oh, another Tempest sinks to the bottom again. I have no idea what is even destroying these Tempests at this point. Oh my god, look at this. The Tempest, see, that's what I'm talking about. This game is realistic ballistics. The Tempest shot out a projectile, but while it was shooting it started to submerge, which means the barrel of the cannon went up, and because of that the shot actually went straight up as well. It might fall down now on top of the Tempest itself, or it might fall down on top of an enemy... whatchamacallit, on top of an enemy plane, which would... Tempest is actually really good at destroying planes because of that, because it can just shoot upwards, which can hit a plane by accident, but it can wipe out a whole bunch of planes like that. The good old Tempest anti-air strat didn't work out that time because there were no planes overhead, but in theory it could have. Alright, how many... This guy's got T3 engineering, sweet. You should be building those missile launchers in seconds. Those are tactical missile launchers, which are the ones that are... Can a TML reach? Can it reach what? Oh, you mean this one? Yeah, okay. So there is no tactical missile defense surrounding the commander of Tersto, for example. So what Grunty Noob can do here is just build a whole bunch of these launchers. The problem is he doesn't have enough mass to actually build them. He's building them a little bit too slowly. But yeah, you could in theory wipe out the commander of Tersto, and then it will be a 2v2 match. And that would greatly spice it up indeed. At least it's better than looking at all of this. Also, my friggin' the mass HUD is back for some reason. I don't know why it came to be, but suddenly it's just reappeared, you know, though it shouldn't have, like I explained before in my video. Okay, well, looks like another batch of broadswords is going to be once again wiped out here by... Oh, never mind, they didn't just decide not to fly in because they were afraid of, I guess, ground-based anti-air. Fair enough. Stop blaze spam. What? There's a blaze spam as well? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, so... Of course, Tron decides to do the only logical thing and answer this horrifying Zethuri spam with his own hover spam. In this case, is blaze tanks, which are the Aeon T2 assault tanks. So, yeah. The joke here is obviously being that, you know, you can say those blaze tanks lagging the game, but like they compare the amount of blaze tanks to the amount of Zethuris on the map. We can actually do that by selecting them. Yeah, 96 blaze tanks. And if we look at the Zethuris, you're gonna have yourself, how many? Ctrl+L. Ah yes, 993. Yeah, so who's lagging the game again? Oh my goodness. Trith, you beautiful troll. Surely enough TML, he tells Grunty. At this point, it kind of has to be. Yeah, they aren't expecting it, which is why there is no tactical missile defense. So that the missile should have a fly in a straight path with no problem whatsoever. Yeah, already over 1,000 Zethuis. I have no idea what this number is referring to, though. I don't understand this number, but yeah. Okay, well, let's see that missile launch. Oh, there it goes. Okay, the missiles have been launched. Let's see how far they can reach. Alright. Yeah, the Aeon missile launcher, a tactical missile launcher known as the Serpentine, is also unique in that the missiles are actually flying like in a serpentine pattern. You can see they curve around everywhere. If the commander doesn't move out the way, he is definitely going to die here. Look at this. Alright, two of these missiles are enough to kill the commander. In this case, probably like 3. Wait, what? Alright, so somehow, all of these missiles managed to hit a shield at the same time. And so even though the shield got destroyed, it's none of the missiles broke through it. Oh my goodness me. Okay, Tron has made an Awasa bomber, which might prove... which might prove pretty devastating of its own accord again. Hit him again, he sucks, says Trith, and indeed, Turster didn't even move out the way or anything. Alright, the Awasa bomber, where is it? Okay, the Awasa bomber is here. So we're at least somewhat seeing what is happening on screen. Although, Turster is saying that something hit him and for 7,000 damage. Which sounds like he might have gotten hit by at least one missile. You're gonna die, says Trith, which is... I might have a bit of a hunch that, perhaps Grunt NOOB was wanting to die, considering how long this game has dragged on. And how horrible the FPS is and everything. Come on! The Corsairs aren't targeting him though, so for some reason they're targeting something else. They should be definitely targeting the commander at this point. This might be part of the desync. Well, Corsairs are hitting the commander. Or the missile launchers instead of the commander. He's now shooting the enemy planes, which have landed for some reason. He is shooting them with his own, with his own gun. Normally it's not possible, but if the planes land, like, they become targetable by your own, a surface-to-surface weaponry, I guess I should say. He's still trying to build up shields. For some reason, he's still not being targeted by the Corsairs. Oh. Yeah, I'm suspecting this is part of the desync. Because why else would they have completely destroyed the launchers but not the commander? Good night, says Grunt NOOB, which implies he's probably about to leave here. Yep, there he goes. Still no idea if he actually got destroyed by Corsairs or by the other stuff. Okay, so where's the Awasa bomber again? I kinda missed it while watching the other stuff. Assuming it got wiped out by the fighters. Can't see it though. Okay, there's so much reclaim, just the reclaim alone is slowing the game down to a crawl. Oh, there is a wreckage of a support commander sitting inside the quantum gateway. Probably preventing it from producing any units either. Which is definitely something you don't want. Alright, so... yeah, at this point I have no idea what the wheelie wants to do. He's got the advanced nano repair system on his commander as well, I'm pretty sure, which means he's got tons more health. Yeah, there you go, advanced nano repair. 37,000 health on this commander against the normal, what is it, like 12,000, 13,000, I don't remember the health of the Seraphim commander. The default one, that is. I remember that the Cybran commander has like 10,000 in total, which is, you know, the lowest. Don't remember the Seraphim one though. Oh man. Alright, well, this is turning out in quite an unexpected way, so you know what my suggestion is? I feel like I'm gonna watch it for like... I'm gonna watch it for like 10 more minutes. And if nothing happens, we will end this replay and then end the stream, because yeah, it's been going on for quite a while. At this point, the streams lasted, yeah, 3.5 hours, so we're probably gonna be clocking in around 4 hours total. And yeah, there is also a next stream coming up later in the day for everybody to enjoy. That one is going to be, oh, there's the Awasa finally. Yeah, the next stream is going to be, whatchamacallit, Ark the Survival of the Fittest, which was community voted in the poll on my community tab on this channel here. Sick Move says the wheelie. I am not entirely sure what he's talking about. But the Awasa just pauses. Did Ctrl+K know he deserves it? Who deserves it? Alright, that blew up a grand total of 1 generator. I don't think this had an effect, as much of an effect as he intended to. So one cool thing that Team 2 can definitely do is, yeah, there you go. You can build Novak satellites. Just have them fly all over the map and try to find the wheelie's commander. Oh, God, this replay is making me dizzy. Yeah, the Novaks in theory could work for the purpose of finding the commander as well as destroying the opposition from the orbit. Unfortunately, yeah, the Awasa had barely any effect. Should have dropped like a couple bombs at least before you know, before detonating it. Or he didn't detonate it; it fell on its own. But you know, I'm not sure why he didn't drop any bombs at all. Teleporter coming up for Tron. I wonder where he's gonna go with that. I guess we should wait for at least the teleporter, see where that goes. If that doesn't go anywhere, well then we'll just leave. Alright, 5 missiles in that one SMD unit. A support commander walking along the bottom of the river trying to reclaim everything, being moderately successful in doing so. At this point, with Tron seemingly taking over the operations of Resi, it looks like he's still holding them back relatively okay. I'm not sure how long he can keep it up, of course, but he is holding them back, doing stuff. Assist after Scathis. Oh! Someone building a Scathis? I didn't even notice. Who's this? Oh! Okay, never mind. Okay, yep. At this point, it very much stands to reason that Team 2 has won. They've completed a Paragon, which is a experimental resource generator. So for those of you who don't know, a Paragon is a resource generator that gives you basically like functionally infinite resources, or maybe not functionally, but basically, yeah, more appropriate, because the Paragon gives you as many resources as you're spending, up to and including 10,000 mass per second and 1,000,000 energy per second. Like if you're spending more than that and your normal mass output is insufficient, or if you're consuming that on top of the mass and energy income from other sources, then the Paragon can no longer sustain it. You will still, you know, you will still be losing resources. But yes, as long as you're consuming less than 10,000 mass per second, and 1,000,000 energy per second, the Paragon has got you completely covered. And you can see right now the effects already taking place. Team 2 at almost 3,000 mass per second versus Team 1 at 1.7 thousand. This is also, of course, partially because of the fact that the wheelie he's not controlling everything. A lot of the stuff still isn't working, like this quantum gateway, for example, or that one. He's not even reclaiming the Awasa bomber. I'm pretty sure he's just overflowing. Well, he's not overflowing, but he's definitely not using all of his resources anyway. A little bit too hard to use them, I imagine, when you've got so much on your plate. But who is building a Scathus, though? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, Tersto is telling somebody assist after Scathus. Ctrl+K responds with, just give me your drones. But who's building the Scathus? Where is it? It's not here. It's definitely not here. Am I not seeing it because of the desync? Because that will suck big time. Yeah. Oh. I feel like I might not be seeing it because of the desync, which sucks. But okay. The teleporter has been done, has been completed for Tron though. He's now going for something else. Is he teleporting? I can't see, but he's definitely going for something. Oh! Right, yeah, that's also part of the desync. I can't see what he's actually already teleporting, but I can't see it. But yeah, so at this point the game is like completely irreversibly broken. We can't see anything. We can't see them building a Scathus. We can't see them doing other stuff. So yeah, not really much point in watching anymore because we don't actually know what's going on. So yeah, I'm gonna end this replay, and then I'm going to end the stream as well because yeah, it's about time. So yes, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you had fun. I hope you had a good time learning stuff, and also yes, I had a great time commentating as well, you know, coming back to it after a while. Of course, you know, my voice was still a little bit damaged, so now I had a bit of a problem. That my voice is running out, but, you know, hopefully like 2 hours or so, I'll just drink something hot and stuff, and hopefully it should be enough to get me back on track for the next stream, which is once again happening today. We're going to be playing Ark: The Survival of the Fittest, and we're going to be playing it on here once again. So yeah, if you're enjoying what you're seeing and you want to see more, or you just like to support me with a little bit of love, please by all means like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you still haven't, and maybe leave a comment down below if you're watching this after the fact, you know, detailing what you would or wouldn't like to see. Yes, for now, this will be it for me, so for now, I'm not saying goodbye, because I will be back in a couple hours, but for now, yeah, take care everybody, see you later in the day, whoever is interested, and yep, have a great rest of your day.